showmanship this morning here at the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza. This will be the first call for junior showmen. First call, junior showmen. Please make your way to ringside. Well, good morning and welcome to the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza Beef Cattle Show. Your judge this morning will be Mr. Mike Simon of Poughkeepsie, New York. At this time, if we could please have you all rise for our national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched
Milk for Health presents the Western New York Youth in Ag Bonanza, live to you at home, where youth from the 8 counties of Western New York will compete in livestock judging and showmanship in various categories. Live from the Showplex on the Erie County Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York, Milk for Health presents the Western New York Youth in Ag Bonanza.
And welcome to the Western New York in Ag Bonanza. I'm Liz Mantel along with our expert Barry Flansburgh, back for day number 2, and we are inside the Showplex getting ready for a day of beef. And I'm really excited about this. Everyone is socially distanced, by the way. Masks are being worn. And we were in for a great show. So, Barry, why don't you kind of set the stage for us a little bit and kind of tell us what's going on today when we say it's beef showmanship?
It's beef showmanship. Good morning, Liz. Everyone from WBBZ, we're glad to have you back again today. We had a great time yesterday. John was practically a dairy expert by the end of the day. So, Liz, our goal here is to make you a beef expert by the time we're all done here. Our show works in 2 parts. The first part of our show is the youth come in with their animals, and the judge is judging the youth on how they handle the animal, how they have it prepared, cleaned, how it leads, and whatever. Then the second half of our show, they will come back with their animals, and the judge will be judging the animal. So first off, we start with our young group, our peewees. These are showmen between the ages of 4 and 8 years old. They're in the ring with their animals. The judge is watching to see how well they lead the animal, set the animal up when it stops so that its feet are all in the right place, keeping their head up. And so we have our first 2 contestants in the ring. It looks like we've got Ava Marino and Ethan Broughton have their animals in the ring. As you can see, the size of these animals compared to the exhibitors, you can tell they've been working with their animals, and see how well she can control that animal at her young age.
What's impressing me, that cow it's huge.
Yes.
And they're able to, so between the ages of 4 and 8, you wouldn't really think that a 4-year-old would be, confident enough to do this, but they are marching around that ring.
This is a lot of what showing animals of any kind with the youth and wherever creates that confidence in them as to how to handle the animal, get it ready, and work with it all year long. This is not something she just started doing on Thursday to come here on Saturday. We hope. If she did just start on Thursday, she's done an excellent job. But you take your animal and you work with it all year long. This is, again, one of the reasons we wanted to have this for the youth, because of the situation today where we can't have the fair and whatever, but these youth who have worked with their animals all year long, we felt the great need to have them have that ability to get out and show what they've done this year.
So kind of explain what's going on. So the judge right now is talking to her. What exactly is he asking her?
The judge will walk up to the exhibitor, and at this age, the judge is going to walk up and just ask general questions as to how old is your animal.
For junior showmen, we'll be looking for Caden Herman, Leslie Mesh, Lindsay Lippert, Cody Carlson, Gianna Marino, Madeline Gable, and Paul Hurlbert.
So you can see the judge went up and talked to her. While he's talking to her, he's kind of seeing, can she control the animal and talk at the same time, kind of the walk and chew gum theory type of thing. As at that age, look how she could multitask. Talking to the judge, he probably asked, what breed is your animal? How old is it? How long have you been working with it? And like that. Now, as the youth get older, his questions will get a little harder.
Is there a reason that they're piping music through? Is it to set the scene, or is it to help add distractions?
This adds distraction to the animal, to where you're getting them used to the animals that are waiting to come in, the animals themselves. It gives them several things going on at once, so they don't get too confused of what's going on, and to see if the animals are used to this type of atmosphere. That's why in a lot of barns, your show animals and whatever always has music going.
That's okay. That's good to know. So now Ava is walking her cow around, and I hope that's planned, right?
Yes, the judge has talked to both of them. Now he's going to watch them walk around again to see how well they lead the animal, keep it under control, how they hold their stick. That's called a show stick. That's used to when the animal is standing still. You'll watch, they'll rub their chest to keep them calm. They'll also use the stick to tap on their feet to get their feet set in the right place where their feet are together.
So what kind of, so I know that there are different types of breeds of
There
cow.
are about 5 different breeds of beef cattle we're going to see today. You're going to see the Herefords, Angus, Simmentals, and there will be several other breeds that will be coming through. So these exhibitors may have more than one animal here today. This is just the animal they've worked with the most to do showmanship with.
So now you're calling them cattle, and I keep calling them cows. I assume that I am wrong.
These are beef cattle.
So, and they're called cattle instead of cows
They're-
because?
Because these are beef animals, so they're cattle. They're herded different than dairy, which is milked and worked different.
So
they're
it's a
beef,
dairy cow and a beef cattle.
beef cattle.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's see how many times I messed that up today.
Not a
Barry.
problem. Again, we love having you guys here. This is the point of educating the public. This is what we generally do during the fair anyways, talk to people and answer questions. We're just glad we can bring that out again. So you can see the judges walking around looking to see how well she's got it set up.
Looks like she's having some problems.
Well, our beef cows, they only have so long that they feel like standing around and being
Right.
good, and then they get curious, ready to walk around.
So how long does a judging normally take?
All depends on the judge.
So he really wants to make sure
He really wants to make sure he's picking the right person, because when he gets done, they will do the different age groups, and then the first and second place of each age group will come back and compete for the Master Showman of Beef. So we have 4 age group categories. First and second will come back, so that the 8-year-old has the same equal chance to be the Master Showman as the 20-year-old.
So Ethan or Ava could walk away.
They could walk away with, and so the judge is doing a lot of his work now checking this out in each class, so when they all come back at the end, he knows specifically what he's looking for. Another thing that a lot of judges like to do, he goes up and he talks to them and he goes, you need to hold your lead or your stick a different way or whatever, and then when they come back later, he's going to be looking to see if they paid attention to what he said and did they make the correction.
Okay, so it's not just about showing, it's about being able to
It's
learn.
about learning. So the judge is here. When he gets done, he will give his explanations of who he placed first and second, the reasons why, and the reason we start with the young exhibitors first is, if you notice on the side, the older exhibitors are here already with their animals. They're going to listen to the judge say things about this group as to say, well, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. The older exhibitors are then looking to find out what the judge wants. So here comes our judge. He's going to tell us his reasons and his placings.
And our judge today is Mike Sinnen.
He's from Poughkeepsie, New York, and we'll hear his reasons for his placings.
Good morning. I've judged an awful lot of shows in the last several years, and I'm going to tell you, it's been a long time since I've been at a gorgeous place like this. This county fairgrounds that you have here is really an amazing
There again, that's why the beef cattle are larger, why there's always people around, because you never know what might happen.
But it is also good to know that there are
We're
plenty
just
of
going to
people
regroup
around
here for a second.
to make sure
Yep,
that they are
we'll
safe.
group.
As I was saying, we get around the country quite a bit, and this is just an absolute beautiful facility that they're allowing you to come and show in these times. We have to make memories where we can make memories these days, and this is just a wonderful facility to be doing that in, and certainly a testament to the staff and what they've been able to do with this fairgrounds here. What do you want to do, huh?
There goes Ava. A lot of times with this, it's more just scared.
Young
as to
lady
what
got
happened
knocked
than getting
over
hurt.
that had the big Hereford heifer, and that heifer probably outweighs her by about, I'd say, 20-fold. That young lady does an amazing job from the time she's in the ring. She really just has a ring presence about her, does a nice job. She's looking at me all the time. She has the heifer set up. For that, we're still going to hand her a blue ribbon and hope that everybody's okay and that nobody's hurt. The young man here, as he gets into the ring, wow, he just keeps coming and getting better and better and better. Does not quit. He looks, He's looking at me. He's sharp. He's got presence. He stands away, strong spine. He looks at you when he's talking to you. Wonderful, wonderful job for both individuals. We'll go ahead and bring the young man back in for if he wants to come back in the overall, he can. Okay, everybody got that? All right. Congratulations to both individuals.
Congratulations in our Pee Wee division to Ava Marino and Ethan Broughton. Now in the ring, we'll look to start our junior showmanship. We'll be looking for Caden Herman, Leslie Mesh, Lindsay Lippert, Cody Carlson, Gianna Marino, Madeline Gable, and Paul Hurlbert. This will be the first call for Class 1 Intermediate Showman. First call, Class 1 Intermediate Showman. Make your way to ringside.
Okay, so explain what just happened. So that means that Ethan
will come back when they come back with all the different age groups. Ethan will be able to come back and compete against the first and second place winners in all our next showmanship classes. And again, you can see the judge went into great detail as to what he was looking for, what he appreciated, what he did, and whatever. So your older youth were over there listening as to the judge. He liked looking at the judge, staying active, keep improving, and making your animal look better the more you keep going around the ring. So this next group of youth who will come in all have this in mind as to what the judge is looking for. So they know they're going to be looking. If you look, you can see them. They're all looking at the judge as soon as they walk in the ring. They're looking at the judge.
So what we're going to do is they get set up for this next round. We're going to go ahead and go to break really quick, and we'll come back to watch the 9 to 12-year-olds show off their cattle.
On behalf of all your Western New York dairy farmers, we assure you that our job has not changed. We are still caring for our animals as we do every day, and we are still producing a clean and healthy product that you can feel safe serving to your families. All the dairy products that reach your table are also on our own family table, never touched by human hands, and from the farm to the grocery store within 48 hours, 365 days a year, through calm or chaos. We promise.
Hello, I'm Ross Salvatore, wishing all the youth competing in the Ag Bonanza good luck. I'm sorry I can't be with you in Hamburg. Remember, hard work and good showmanship pays off. I hope to see you and your families soon at Russell's Steaks, Chops, and more.
All right, and we are back at the Western New York Youth in Ag Bonanza. I'm Liz Mantell, along with Barry Flansburgh, and we are getting ready for the next judging of the beef cattle, and it's the showmanship, meaning that the judge is looking for how they handle and know their animals.
How they handle, know their animals. These are the youth that are between 9 and 12 years old. They've gone around the ring once with their animals. As you can see now, the judge has lined them all up. He's going to go down, talk to each exhibitor. Generally, he'll ask them the age of your animal, what breed it is, how long you've been working with it. If you notice, he's standing there as he's talking to the youth. We'll watch him. Notice he puts his hand on its back and kind of rubs it back and forth. He's checking to see if the animal's clean, because one of the things in showmanship is presenting your animal in its best condition, nice and clean and whatever. You can see after he did that, she went back and rebrushed the hair on the back of that animal where he had been. The judge is then always looking at that too, as to he messed the animal up. Did you then put the animal back in the proper condition? So see, he's got his hand on the back, leaning over, talking to the exhibitor, kind of brushing his hand back and forth. Then most judges have eyes in the back of their head. When he walks away, he's kind of looking. He'll kind of somewhat look out of the side of his eye. Did that youth rebrush where he had just kind of put his hand? And he's walking around and looking. See, there he goes again, putting his hand on it, checking, discussing, again, seeing, have you worked with the animal? Is it common enough for a stranger to walk up next to it and put its hand on it so he can tell, does he have the animal under control? And so it's judging the youth. Have they got all the conditions ready for showing? So he's doing multiple things at once here as he's talking.
We've got a cattle that just does not want to.
Well, again, these
Well,
are
and
very
it's-
large
yeah.
animals whose natural disposition is not to stand around. Their disposition is to walk around and eat and whatever. So it does take a lot of work to get your showmanship animal ready, and that's part of what the judge is looking for. They are pretty hefty animals.
So he's the cattle is now.
It's loose, but
Loose,
you
but
notice
still-
when we're doing beef cattle, there are a lot of adults around
Right.
to do. One of the things, unfortunately, this year, generally by the time you get to Erie County Fair, you've probably had the animal at one or two shows already. So you've worked out the kinks of getting used to all of this. Unfortunately, this year, with things that are going on and things being canceled, the youth haven't had the chance to
hard,
exhibit
right.
as much. This may be the first big time that this animal's been out. And so there are those things happen. So in the meantime, again, you can see your judge. He's still going up and down the line, talking to the youth, checking them out, see how they're doing. This is, again, one of the things he's looking for. Have you worked with your animal? Is it calm in situations where other animals are running around? It's showing beef cattle is different than dairy, where the dairy animal doesn't have that natural wound-up disposition. So again, you notice there's more adults around the ring for this than there
For
is dairy
safety,
cattle.
of course. Let's talk a little bit about the judge and what it means to be one. Like, what is a typical background of a judge? Are they a farmer themselves? Do they raise cattle?
Most have raised cattle most of their life, working with it all over, have a good eye of buying and selling cattle, and you generally fall into judging almost by accident. As generally at your local county fair or something comes up, oh, we need somebody to come in that's local, knows everything, does and whatever, gets to talking and doing, and if you do a good job, the word gets out. And especially like our judge today is from Poughkeepsie, New York. You always bring your judge in who doesn't know anybody locally.
It's probably a good idea.
It's a good idea because you don't want to be in the ring and like, oh, gee, Uncle Frank's the judge today. I'm going to win. No, that's not it. So you bring the judge in who is totally impartial. So he has gone down through, talked to all the exhibitors about their animals and whatever. Now he took them out to the edge of the ring and is now going to get them to walk all the way around in a circle again to see. You can see our youth here with this animal first is still pretty wound up.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like Dad's in to kind of to ride herd with the animal and get them under control. So again, your judge keeps the show going to be not totally distracted with that, to see how many of the other youth have kept their animals under control while there's another animal that's running around. This will help in his decisions.
So it's typical that he'll have them stop, talk to him, have them move around, get them to stop again.
Stop again to see if they take their animal and have it set with their feet together, displaying the animal in its best possible condition, keeping its head up. All the while, hopefully, the exhibitors are watching the judge while they're doing that to know when to stop, when to set the animal up. When he has them stop, that's when you see the exhibitors take their stick and they will gently rub the belly of the animal for some distraction. It's a calming mechanism. Then the judge is going to look to see, did you set that animal up in a position that displays the animal?
So I'm just going to ask it. A couple of cattle have relieved themselves. Is
Yes.
that counted
normal.
against?
That's why you show cattle in a dirt
Right.
ring.
Not on the carpet.
Not on the carpet and whatever, because again, you can't
But that's
control
not
that.
controllable, right?
No,
that
that's
doesn't
not
matter.
controllable, so that doesn't matter.
Okay.
Part of the time that shows the animal is relaxed and not wound up, they're standing still. Well, this is what we're just used to doing.
I think that's why the initial cattle, was a little upset. I think he had to go.
Yes, and then a lot of times that can be it.
That
so
could
you
be
move
it.
them, you may have to move them around a little bit. If they're still a little unsettled, you can see that the one young lady there is just kind of taking her animal around in a circle to help calm them down. In the meantime, the judge is again walking around to look at all the animals. Is your animal calm? Have you set it up so that the feet are in the right positions? With the beef cattle, you want to set the legs mostly together so you can see the height of the animal, see if their back is straight, no deformities, and the judge is looking to see their growth. Are they big and fat? Are they skinny? I mean, beef cows are supposed to be beefy.
And you want them
big
beefy.
And you want to see that. Is it nice and clean, a nice straight back, and does everything look like it's growing accordingly? And then he's watching how that youth handles that animal.
So you can see on the screen right now, as you said before, if they get a little antsy, they'll walk them around to calm them down. If this is the portion where they're supposed to be still, do they get points for knowing how to calm the animal down, or do they really need to be still?
The judge is watching, and he's looking at who has kept their animal set up in the right position, never moving at all, or who recognizes that the animal is a little antsy, move it all around, and then reset it again. That's why in the first class he complimented the young man of constantly working his animal.
Okay.
Meaning working it to get it in the right spot. Could it be the animal just stands there and never moves? It's got no enthusiasm, no nothing, it's just there. Or is the youth working really hard to always get it in the best position?
So now, for these competitors, the kids that have these animals, do they all live on a family farm, or is there sometimes where they just want to be a part of 4-H, so they have it housed somewhere else, or are they all farmers?
No, a lot of times they are youth that there may be a farm close by to them or a relative that actually houses the cattle and whatever, but you then lease or have your own animal there. You go and work. It's a great way. That's how you get free labor. Hey, your grandson or your nephew or whatever is interested in showing cat. Well, I got one, and if you come every afternoon and clean stalls and doing whatever, I'll let you show it in 4-H or at the fair or whatever to help them learn that responsibility, because it is a year-round project.
So how old are the cattle that we're seeing now?
Most of the cattle we're going to see are going to be a year to a year and a half old, because again they are beef cattle, which are designed to be raised to turn into to end up at Russ Salvatore's.
I was say to end up
so
delicious.
At which point the beef cattle has a life term of 2 years or so. So most everything is going to be less than 2 years old.
So have they raised them since birth, or is it a
Yes.
situation? Okay.
Yeah, but they're raised from birth, and that again is if you think you're going to show the beef cow and whatever, you like to start right at birth, getting that connection. They get used to your voice, being handled, having a halter on, because that's not a natural instinct for the beef cattle to be led around and like that. So that's why it's a year-long project, to where we did want to give the youth that opportunity to show what they've accomplished this year by coming out and showing their animals. But yes, when an animal for showmanship, you literally do want to start working with it from birth.
It has to be hard for the kids, though, right? I mean, they know the end product is to end up on a plate.
But that is, again, the education process of how agriculture works.
To know your food, where it's coming from.
Where it comes from, what it takes to do it, the cycle and the whole thing, to learn that. Again, the education part of it, of learning where, where does your beef come from? Well, it doesn't come from Tops, even though Tops, great sponsor in the whole thing.
Right.
The idea of where does milk come from? Well, it comes from a jug from the store. No, there's a whole story behind where it came from, what it takes to do it, and this is what this education process is part of for the youth, of showing and doing, to then show off what they've accomplished.
So the judge has asked the cattle to be moved. Is this just, again,
he has had them asking a lot of questions, moved them around a couple times. He went back through and told the youth how to come back and line up. He's getting close to that point of who he's going to determine who's who. So tentatively, he has an idea of who he wants in first, second, on down the line.
Would that be, if we're looking at the screen right now, would we assume that the first one is in first?
Is up here, yes. The first is generally as closest to the announcer's stand. And unfortunately, you can see as they're lining it up, the young man who had so much trouble handling his animal is at the other end of the line. He's done a great job, but today just wasn't the day for
It
that
wasn't
animal.
the day. And you
Right.
never know. I mean, I imagine just like people, cattle can be temperamental.
Yes, and again, there's the joy of judging and why you show a lot. You never know what is your
Well,
day.
as the morning starts to heat up a little bit in the intermediate division, for those of you that are, I believe, going to be seniors coming in next or juniors, what's coming next? Intermediates and then seniors. Intermediate and seniors need to pay attention. These two individuals I got in first, not taking anything away from the rest of them, are tied. I mean, these two I can't get out of my head. They are no joke, either one of them. If you want to win a showmanship class, it begins at home. If you want to score 1,000 points, you got to go out in the driveway and practice. You want to score 1,000 points with me in the ring, it's right here. It's at home. This young lady has got this heifer's hair in place with not one, I bet there's very little adhesive or anything in it. The young lady tells me she's been rinsing and working it at home every day. You can see it when she leads out. Go ahead and lead her out. When she leads out, her shoulder is perfect with her head at all times. This is unison, a complete team, if you will. And I'm looking for team unison when I'm looking in the showmanship division at all times. She never misses a beat. She got a little caught up in a corner over here, didn't get frustrated, took her time, let me move away and come back to her, did an awesome job. The young man is unbelievable. He's got to have somebody at home. You got an older brother or sister at home? And you want to beat them, don't you? You want to beat them all the time, don't you? That's the problem. That's the deal right here. This young man wants to beat his siblings, and there's no doubt about it. He's going to do it. Bring him around, bring him around. The only thing I told him, and it keeps happening, is that unfortunately it happens in the Angus division. These Angus cattle will tend to get their front legs out from under them sometimes, and they just looked a little stretched or he looked a little bit off, and it was that close between him and the young lady in the Hereford. They're both going to come back for the championship go-around. Give both those young people a round of applause.
It's almost I knew what the judge was looking for.
Fourth and down the line here, it's just a matter of the animal was out of line a little bit. I talked to the young ladies as we went down through. We want to keep their animals more head to tail, as straight as we can. Keep their heads up at all times. Give that nice look to me and that ring presence. These young ladies have a wonderful job of ring presence. They look at you when they talk to you. They did a wonderful job out here, both of them. And the young lady here that's going to come out with the more stouter made female here, bring her on out. Just never misses a beat. Just unfortunately, she just got kind of off to the side a couple of times. She just wants to raise her head up all the time and get to running on her. She does a great job holding her and controlling her. For me, I think that she just needs maybe another year of practice, and she's going to be up near the top of it along with the rest of them. The young men on the far end here, there's nothing wrong with either one of them. I think both of them do a wonderful job. This young man, I think he said his steer's name is T-Bone. He just has to start looking at me a little bit more, paying a little bit more attention. It's hard keeping that big old steer's head up, but he does a nice job doing it. And unfortunately, this young man's just not having a good day with this steer. This steer does not want to act right for him, and in showmanship, I have to cut it. When the steer stood well over here for him, he did a great job. When he was standing and calm over here, that young man did a wonderful job keeping that steer calm and showing him. So give them all a round of applause. I think they all did a wonderful job.
Congratulations in the Junior Showman Division. Your champion junior showman goes to Miss Gianna Marino of Clarence Center, New York. Reserve champion junior will go to Cody Carlson. Third, Madeline Gable. Fourth, Lindsay Lippert. Fifth, Paul Hurlbert.
Kirby lost her place in the book.
Oh, that's okay. We're going to go ahead and take this moment, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with more of the showmanship.
Milk and cheese and yogurt make me sing every day, 'cause milk is amazing. Drink milk to grow up with strong bones. 3 times a day, vitamin D and calcium. So drink it with chocolate, put it on your pizza. How about berries? It's always a treat. Milk is amazing.
The Erie County Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York. One of the Northeast premier agriculture and entertainment destinations. Home to the Erie County Fair, the Fairgrounds Event Center, Buffalo Raceway, Hamburg Gaming, and host to nationally recognized livestock, ag industry shows, and award-winning ag education programs. Annually, the state-of-the-art Agriculture Discovery Center and Showplex buildings attract thousands of participants and their livestock for events like the Empire State Beef Classic, the Spring Dairy Preview, and the National Junior Swine Association Eastern Regional Hog Show. Located near Buffalo and the U.S.-Canadian border, the Erie County Fairgrounds is a convenient drive from points across the East. Where competitors and champions grow, we'll see you soon at the Erie County Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York.
And welcome back. We are in the next class of the Beef Cattle Showmanship at the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza. I'm Liz Mantel alongside Barry Flansburgh, and we've started the next group. These are 13 to 16-year-olds, and this group actually has been broken into 2 classes, and the reason behind that, Barry?
Is we have enough youth to where if we put all the beef cattle in the ring at once, it'd be pretty full. You can see that every once in a while some get a little antsy and moving, so we don't put too many cattle in the ring at once. So what we've done is split this group up. The judge will pick 2 out of this group. The next group will come in and will probably pick 2 out of that, then bring those 4 back to decide then who is his first and second in the intermediate showmanship.
So the first thing that I notice out there is we've got a cute little, would they be called a calf?
That's a calf, yep.
And how is that? I mean, obviously it's showmanship, so it's how you work with your animal, but compared to the other ones.
Right. And again, this might be a case this is the only beef cattle the exhibitor has to show and is bringing in. Again, showmanship is designed to where it's not about the animal, it's about the youth and how they show it. So how she leads it, walks it, sets it up, keeps it calm and clean. And as we were discussing earlier, the judge did a great job of where I said the youth are watching and listening to what he's listening for. And the first thing he did with the last class is took the 2 people who were first and second, describe what they did right, what he's looking for, and for the exhibitors. And again, it's almost like I know what I'm talking about here when I said he was walking through and he was touching the animals to see if they were clean. You noticed he mentioned, was there any adhesive or any sticky material that was keeping the hair up rather than naturally, and like that, how they lead, and how he discussed that it's a year-round thing of have you been doing, taking care of it, pointing that out to the exhibitors who were waiting to come into the ring to already know what he's looking for, so when they come in,
they kind of make those last-minute adjustments.
They make those adjustments. If they don't, the judge is going to pick up on that right away.
I also appreciate, though, how he goes through each cattle and each person to say what they did or what they need to improve on, because a lot of times when you get into a competition, there's a winner and there's a loser, and that's what you get. You got to go back and look at the tapes. But he is telling them exactly what they can do.
And again, you're back to the showing animals with youth, the judges and whatever. That's kind of the mantra of you're here to teach. And it's not all about winning. Yes, it's important today who places first and like that, but also teaching the youth what you need to do to be better the next time, to improve and do, because it is for education. You can see again the judge, he's coming up to the young lady with the calf, and he's doing the exact same thing for this small calf as he did for the large one next to it.
Is she at a disadvantage because the calf is so young, less time to work?
Yes, somewhat, because a little later we'll see how good I am at thinking in the judge's mind. He will probably mention that she did a great job. It's just not big enough to know, does she really handle a larger animal and do all the right things. It is a little easier to walk that little calf around than it is that 1,000-pound animal. So the judge is now consulting as to how many does he need to pick out of this group to come back, and all he will be doing is just pointing out who's coming back. And then he probably won't say a whole lot about them. He'll just mention who's not coming back, what they need to improve, because he doesn't necessarily want to give away anything yet. If he gives something away for this group, the next group waiting has an advantage.
Has that advantage.
So we'll see kind of how he does that in his explanations. But again, you can see how he's going to do this. As to who comes back, he may actually just pull them off to the side and have them wait.
Stand there.
Have them stand there while they bring the other ones in. Let's see. Again, it all depends on what the judge likes to do.
And that's probably, again, he doesn't have to say anything.
Yeah, right now he's just going to make them walk by him again.
Well, I tell you what, Barry, if there was a cuteness award, I'd know who'd win it.
Yes.
I want to go over and pick that calf up. I probably couldn't, but...
And again, in shows and wherever, that may be what she's going for.
The cute award, the cute factor.
As it catches the judge's eye. Maybe I'm not first, but I may catch his eye enough to get through this round into the next round or whatever by just how I'm doing. Why he mentions, showing, are you working with the animal? Do they go together? As he talked about before, as the youth walking the animal, how they all seem to flow together, showing you've worked with it a long time. So that the young lady here in first with the small calf, she hasn't worked with that a long time because it's not as old as the rest of them.
So why is she holding, so the little calf that's being walked, there's someone behind the little calf holding the tail. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, calves aren't exactly, beef cattle especially, the calves aren't known for being that ambitious. So they're just kind of helping it along to move along.
Okay.
Where the larger animals, they have no problem moving along.
Okay.
The little calf is used to more standing around.
Gotcha.
So what the judge has done is he's had them come around in front of them one direction. Now they've come around again. Same thing. You can see the one young lady whose animal wasn't totally settled, so she walked it around in a circle,
and
reset
again, that's
it.
okay.
That's okay. That's not a problem because you're recognizing that your animal just isn't quite right, and in the situation, walk it around again and reset it. The judge would rather see you do that than just have the animal that just doesn't look right and you're just standing there doing nothing. That was his discussion before of the people. Keep working your animal.
And we see all the sticks going now that they're standing there.
Now that they're standing, the stick is going to calm them down, to gradually move their feet to get them settled in a relaxed position. As you can see, the camera is going down through with the judge. And at home, you can kind of be a judge yourself here. You can see he's walking up. You can get an idea of what he's looking for.
And again, the music is being piped through to add as a distraction to see how the cattle react.
As a distraction, how they do. Our judge is now up talking to the young lady with the calf. Again, talking to her, asking questions. He's going back down through and looking.
Which I think, when you think about showing animals, I wouldn't think that sort of interpersonal communication, would be judged, but they're learning valuable skills on how to communicate with people. Look them in the eye.
Talk. Can you talk to someone right away about what you know? This is the judge. Most of the youth don't know, and the whole thing. Can you communicate clearly, answer the question, think on the spot as to what he's asking you, and adjust accordingly? He may be going down and saying something about your animal. Then when he's all done, come back and see, did you make the adjustment to your animal that I just talked to you about? Saying,
This will be the second call for break 2, intermediate showman. Second call, break 2, intermediate showman. Make your way to ringside. A reminder that we will be selecting a Grand Reserve overall showman, so we will look for those champion reserves back to compete for champion and reserve champion overall showman after the selection of our champion reserve senior showman.
The voice you're hearing is Kirby. She's kind of in charge of...
Kirby Dygert is our official announcer. I am just the guy that does fill in here, there, and whatever from the Ag Discovery Center and like that. But we work together with all the things, again, recognizing the youth. Kirby's voice goes into all the barns so the exhibitors are getting ready, knowing when their time is to come down and whatever. and again, recognizing everybody. So you can see our judge has now gone through, and he's starting to look at people and pointing to them. And there again, watch what he has just done, what we've just been discussing. Here are the first young lady coming out. Here's who he pointed at as first. Next is second. And look who he picked third out of this group.
Really?
The young lady who handled that calf correctly, had it clean, set up, and wherever. So the size,
cute factor.
the cute factor, again, as we talked, the cute factor might have jumped in there a little bit. But again, he's judging that youth of how do they do all the parts and showing the animal correctly. Clean, walking it, setting up in the whole thing. And so the exhibitor with the small animal still is doing the exact thing. So he didn't go through and say, well, here's the largest animal of the group, you're first. No, he was looking at how the exhibitor handled the animals.
That's pretty, I love it because, you know, like you say, Barry, you can get into his head. Hopefully by the end of this, I'll be able to pick the winner.
And that's why over time, as exhibitors and the whole thing, that's the things that you pick up on, why he was making that comment of one class. So these exhibitors that are waiting are seeing, what is he looking for? What do I need to do for this judge? Every judge is a little different as what they look for. The exhibitors were listening, what is this judge looking for?
Now, as the judge is getting ready, he's going around and he's making comments to each of them. You know, we talk about how the animal looks and if they're clean and if they're properly, you know, if they look right, if they've got the straight back. What about the kids that are showing? Are they judged on their outfits, how they present themselves?
Yes, are they, again, you're showing a clean animal, you need to be dressed properly, under control, look good, know what you're doing. And it's a professional appearance in learning how to do that. You can see that there's the judge. He's very animated talking to the young lady. You can't see it on the camera. We can see it, the big smile on her face as he's talking, doing, and whatever, and he's spending a lot of time talking to her, meaning he was very impressed.
He's got a smile on
his
face,
too. They're both smiling and
because
whatever.
I think he just wants to...
Yes, I think he's going, he really enjoyed what she accomplished there.
I think so, too. But I do love, though, how he takes the time with each of them, and then he'll go ahead and repeat that for everybody.
Yes, showmanship lasts longer because the judge takes the time with that. When we get back to when they come back and judging the animals, it's around, you go with the animal, this is it, and move. But here the showmanship part does concentrate and why showmanship is done first, because we're teaching the youth what to do.
So if you intermediates are interested, what we're going to do, moms and dads, is we're placing them right now, and I'm going to bring the top 3 in here. We'll be coming back. Anybody that knows me knows it's a new game when they come back in for their intermediate. So we're going to turn, and we're going to walk this young lady out and talk what a powerful, powerful individual and wonderful person to talk to. Wow, whose ever child this is doing a great job raising her. You don't have to be told that, but it's nice to hear it from somebody. Just you talk to her, she looks at you, got the amazing amount of ring presence. Experience. From the time she came from that doorway right there, from that gateway till she got in here, she didn't care what was around her. She was on me and on that animal. Unbelievable. Really nice job. You can't take nothing but credit for that one. This young man, bring him out. We're going to turn this one and start bringing him out. This individual is just really, really, really good. Very calm, very collected. I just got done telling when and you can tell who's ever out there helping you what I told you, right? From the time when he first came in, he was a little jittery, he didn't have his eyes on me, looking all over the place, didn't know what we were doing. And then all of a sudden, about the time they lined up, something hit him and away we went. I mean power. This one can show. I'm pretty sure you've shown this steer before. Are we correct? You guys have been washing and showing together. You're working with them. This calf is dead on every single time. I don't know who's helping him, but they did a great job. He is really doing a great job. Good job. Out you go. This young lady here, we talked about it. Probably one that's going to win a class every single time she goes in. It's not her. It's the little calf, right? We're only 3 weeks out from breaking her, she said. And you know, every time she sets up, the calf wants to put her leg someplace else. It's just going to take more time and effort. But when we're judging that close of a showmanship contest, I had to take the people that had their animals set up correctly every time, and right now you're making a liar out of me, so good job. All right, wonderful. As we went down and we talked to the other three, it's just a matter of keeping their heads up, getting the animals in line, understanding where I am, and a little smoother on the show stick. So they're all going to work hard, and congratulations, everyone. Good luck.
Congratulations in our first class of intermediate showmen. First place will go to Amelia Hinch-Strube, second to Trevor Beats, third Audrey Hurlbert, fourth Morgan Griffin, fifth Aiden Dobson, and sixth Allison McNamara. Out of that class, we'll be looking for first, second, and third back to compete for our top overall intermediate showman. A reminder to those of you standing ringside and exhibitors and those of you at home, when that heat comes back into the ring, it will be a whole new class and we will rework that class. Your placings will not count in the final drive. We are now ready to bring in Class 2 Intermediate Showmen. Kylie Paddock, Kyra Pence, Nate Blair, Autumn Matheson, Aubrey Gearhart, Caitlin Broughton, Mitchell Stower, and Mandy Hurlbert.
Well, the judge is making me look pretty good.
All right, as we set up for Class 2, the same group, just a separate class, we're going to go to break as they set up.
Milk times 3 is good for me. 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 Strong bones. Healthy bodies. Tastes great.
Milk with chocolate, yogurt, cheese.
Make me healthy, stronger, please.
Milk times 3 is good for me. Milk times 3 is good for me. Milk times 3 is good for me.
Want the best for your pets? Decide on Clyde's. Most people think their best deal is with online retailers, but I'm always getting the best price at Clyde's Feed and Animal Center. Shop ClydesFeed.com for convenient 1 to 3 day shipping to your doorstep. They've got a great selection of food for every pet, from dogs and cats to horses and chickens, wild birds, and everything in between. You'll find more than food. Shop toys, treats, flea and tick treatment, grooming supplies, vitamins, supplements, and more at Clyde's Feed and ClydesFeed.com.
And we are back. It's the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza, and we are still doing the beef cattle showmanship. We just finished the first class of the intermediate age group, 13 to 16, where they picked 3 cattle that will be coming back to take on, I assume, 3 cattle from this second class that will then decide who gets to go on to the next round. I'm Liz Mantel alongside Barry Flansburgh, who is our expert and who is inside the judges' heads. And you've actually done a pretty good job.
I'm looking pretty good so far. All right, Liz, as to getting an idea of what the judge is looking for, what he's going to say, and whatever. So, again, we've brought the class was so large of youth, we split it in half so we wouldn't have too many animals in the ring at one time. So the second half of the intermediates is in. He's had them walk around the ring once. He's now lining them up and going through the same process as he did with the first group. He goes in and talks to each exhibitor, looks at the animal. You'll notice he'll go down through and he'll generally rub his hand across the animal to check to see is it clean and natural, not any hairspray or anything making the hair stand up. It's all natural work with. Generally, we'll ask the exhibitor how old the animal is, may ask some specific questions and see how the youth responds to his questions to see how engaged they are in the process. You can see he's asking a few questions. So must be there's something he likes. He goes and he looks. What do you do to the animal? If you notice, the young lady started brushing the animal again right after he left to fix where he had his hand.
Because he's going to check that
He's going to check that to see, are you putting your animal back in the same condition? Are you aware? This young lady, see, she's looking. Are the feet in the right place, moving it around?
And where do the feet need to be? Why? What's the optimal placement, and why is that important?
The feet need to be generally close together so the animal is standing straight up. If the legs are too spread apart, the animal might naturally slouch. So they want to be standing up as straight-legged as they can with the feet close together so that the animal, you can tell that his back is straight and standing up straight for the uniformity. So as he's going down through, he's looking again, touching every animal, saying hello to the exhibitor, getting an idea of what's going on.
And again, it's important. What she's doing right now is the cattle got restless.
Yes, got
So
restless after he walked up and cattle got restless, so she's taking the animal around in a circle, resetting it to get under control. The judge is again watching this to say, you knew your animal was out of control, so you then redid it. Now after he's gone down through the whole line and looking, he's going to go back down through and look to see, did you do the adjustments that maybe I mentioned to you when I went through? Is your animal still set upright, nice and calm? Did you brush where I rubbed it before? And as the exhibitor, if you notice he's walking down through, watch the exhibitor's turn and look at him, and see she'll move, and she moved to the other side to keep her eyes on the judge. You never want to have your back to the judge. See this?
Like
he
that
walked
boy.
right past it.
Yeah,
It took him
I
a
get
little
it.
too long to turn and follow the judge, because you never know what instruction the judge might be giving, and you've got your back to him and you don't know. So again, he's going to have them then take their cattle to the edge, and then they'll circle around in a circle in front of the judge again as he's getting closer to deciding who these three are.
Do you think, Barry, that the judge generally has an idea after the first or second pass, and he just wants to make sure he's making the right decision?
As you heard him in his last explanations of his first, who he picked first in that class, how he mentioned the young lady was right on the bat as soon as she walked into the ring. So he already has an eye. By the time you've made the first pass, he kind of in your mind, you start doing eliminations, so to speak, as to you know what you're looking for overall. So the first time around the ring for this judge, he's looking to see who has the most of what he's looking for. Then he lines them up and goes down through. The questions he asks may be what's helping him do the next stage of narrowing down. So at this point, he probably has about 4 animals that he's really truly looking at with that. So he lets them all come around again. He'll watch to see if they set up, how they handle them or whatever. And as we've watched him before, he'll go down through, probably ask questions again, doing whatever, bring them back up, and then know who his 3 are he's looking for.
Again, you just heard a loud start of a song. That's to add distractions. Are you part of the playlist selection committee?
No, Kirby is great at this with the selections and whatever. The other thing that happens too is if you'll watch as the day goes on and whatever, watch the various fair staff. And as you get tired to keep you going, just the movement of the music, you'll see some swaying back and forth here of whatever and like that.
It's quite an eclectic mix, but again, it's there to add another distraction to see how the cattle handle it. Now,
Right.
Today we're looking at beef cattle. Yesterday was dairy.
Was dairy.
Do you also do dairy showmanship?
Yes.
And now
all the breeds of animals have showmanship.
And now, okay, so do they, obviously in a dairy cow you're looking for something different than in a beef cow, but still how you handle it, are there different judging aspects depending on the breed?
There are small changes, but overall you're looking for, have you kept the animal healthy, clean? Does it obey you in walking and doing? Do you know about the animal? Again, there's the asking questions and looking. So it's, again, the knowledge part of, do you know about the animal, work with it, and do dairy cattle set up a little different when you're showing pigs? They don't stand still, but
Right.
can you control it going the right direction, the
I
right
heard
way?
about the pigs,
So
Barry.
every breed has its own aspects of what you have to do, but the overall gist is, do you know how to work with the animal properly, have it groomed well, taken care of, and the whole thing?
How does this play a part? So obviously 4-H, it's a great program. They're learning a lot of responsibility. They're learning about where food comes from, all of that. But how does that play a part if they want to continue in ag?
You start learning where this can take you, as to where, when you're here, well, there are shows all over the country, all throughout the state in a normal year,
Right.
when you could possibly show 4 or 5 times your animal. So when you get into it and start showing, get the appreciation of the animal, where it can go, the worth of this animal, when you can sell it, how you can breed, do more and whatever, as to how your work ethic can turn into a career in any aspect. If maybe you like showing and doing, don't have a farm, but you get very knowledgeable and whatever, you can see this judge came from Poughkeepsie, New York. There is a future and a business in being a good judge, since they are looking for judges from outside of the area. If you show a lot, get well known of knowing cattle, and then get into judging, you may travel all over the country as a judge.
Okay. Now, a lot of these, or most of these beef cattle, I know normally they can do the live auctions here. You know, you show the animal and then you're able to sell it and,
Yes.
and show, you know, here's the whole process. How has that changed?
This year, all the auctions are online through the fair and the different fairs, extensions, and 4-H and like that, which then limits the amount of people, because there's a lot of excitement of showing and purchasing the first place, or your neighbors there, you're bidding against them to support the youth and whatever. Again, all these animals, because they were going to be sold anyways, you're still going to sell them, you're just not going to get as many of the extra online sales and like that. So that some of the youth still are putting the animals in their auctions, they're online, somewhat limits the people. Maybe you still go out and work with who was going to come and bid anyways, you just do it privately.
Right.
So still to support the youth and whatever. So the people that do support the youth in the auctions are still out there. We appreciate them. It's just not as open as it usually is.
But to be able to have this and let the kids, you know, like you said before, this is a year-round. This isn't a, I'm going to decide to do
Except
this
the
on
young
Thursday.
ladies whose calf was probably born in March. That one was not a year-round, but most of the rest of these are year-round. Again, as your judge has been mentioning, how they work together and doing whatever. He's complimenting the youth, their parents, and whatever. As he mentions, he's recognizing the fact that these are year-round projects.
So to be able to have them come out and show their animals and experience it and gain that experience, so, you know, next year they're going to take everything that they've learned here and just kind of progress along.
Progress and make your improvements, whatever. Hopefully, too, we're showing the youth that the adults are behind them year-round. Not like we just didn't say, well, there's no fair, we're done, no nothing, or whatever. This is something that's very important to the Erie County Ag Society and the Board of Directors, of continuing the education and learning process year-round and not abandoning the youth. Situations are different, but we found a way to do it, and especially with the help of you folks from WBBZ, of putting it out there for the grandparents, the aunts and uncles and whatever, who normally would be here, could see it.
So as we start to quote-unquote place the second heat and intermediate deal, we've got really a lot of power from top to bottom. Nothing taken away from anyone down on the far end, but we've got a lot of power in the front end. Experience is paying off here. When it came down to it, I had these two walk around one more time. They're both actually all three are coming back in for the championship drive. For me, it got down to it. This old steer sets up every time perfectly. I looked. He had the right or left leg out of place just a tick. Right? Okay. And the young lady with the shorthorn colored heifer over here, this young lady immediately set up, and at the same time as she set up, she's doing a national drive. She just did it again. She goes up and whispers or blows at that heifer's head, gets her ears up, and gives you that pretty look. And that's what it took. That close, okay? We're coming back in for the championship drive. Everybody's going to be good to go. These two, give them a great round of applause. Really, really close in both individuals. Good job. We get off at the young lady with the third that I'm putting in third right now. I'm bringing her back in also. I think there's a lot of power in this young lady, certainly some experience. As she gets older, she's going to go ahead and get to the top of this class. She missed a trick over here to kind of fill the hole one time, and for me, that's why she dropped the third, but a really nice job. The poor young lady with this roan heifer is getting beat up really bad, but when she's got her under control, she really does a nice job with her. The big yellow steer the same way, kind of throws that girl all over the place, but two ladies that really, really know their animals. They look at their animals, they know where their animal is, they know where I am. Those are really tough animals to show for nice young ladies like that. I would look to say they both have a lot of experience, and I think down the road they're going to be awful tough with different animals. We get down here to these young people on the bottom side, they just need a little bit more time and experience. Heifers were out of line a couple of times. We got to hold the show stick a certain way. But congratulations, everyone, and I hope to see you again.
Congratulations in Class 2 of our intermediate showmen. First place will go to Caitlin Broughton. Second, Kyra Pence. Third, Autumn Matheson. Fourth, Aubrey Gerhart. Fifth, Mandy Hurlbert. Sixth, Kylie Paddock. And seventh, Mitchell Storr. And eighth, Nathan Blair. Now in the ring, we are inviting back our top 6 to compete for your top 6 intermediate showmen. Out of Heat 1 was Amelia Hinstrube, Trevor Beats, and Audrey Hurlbert. Out of Heat 2, we are looking for Caitlin Broughton, Kyra Pence, and Autumn Matheson. If you could join me in putting your hands together for all of our intermediate showmen.
There we go. We now have the top. The class was so big, he picked 3 from each class, and they're all in.
So what we're going to do really quick is we get set up and they get ready to show and pick the final ones. We're going to go to break really quick, and we'll come back to see the results.
Imagine a world without milk. It would be a tragic, tasteless existence. After all, with no cheese, how would anyone know when to smile? With no milk, why would anyone want to? But there is hope. Your Western New York dairy farmers are committed to providing the most wholesome, delicious milk products possible, returning smiles to tables and order in the universe.
So, everyone's okay with a cow in the house?
Milk for Health. The guys with the cows.
Saturday night is movie night on WBBZ TV. The fun starts at 6 p.m. with The Three Stooges. Then at 8, Svengoolie screens the classics.
Kerwin.
And later at midnight, Buffalo Beatniks, Zelda, Bird, and Theo serve up hot coffee and cool movies on Offbeat Cinema.
Keep watching the skies. Keep watching.
And keep watching WBBZ TV, your hometown MeTV station. Channel 67.1 on air and DirecTV, Channel 5 on cable, Fios, and Dish.
All right, we are back. I'm Liz Mantel alongside Barry Flansburgh.
This will be the first call for Class 1 senior showman. Class 1 senior showman, make your way to ringside.
They're just letting everyone know what the next one coming up. So we've got our finalists from the 2 classes, and now Judge Mike Synan of Poughkeepsie, New York, is going to pick the top ones that will then move on to the final show. Now, Barry, I've been paying attention. If I'm in this final one, I'm going to make sure that I've got eye contact. My shoulders are up when I'm walking, and I'm blowing in the ear of my cattle.
Yes, you noticed that was a pretty good trick that he mentioned, because that makes their ears stand up, kind of talking to them, whistling in their ear or whatever. That's something that she learned because the judge wants to see the alert head, and that's something she learned, that you can just kind of blow in their ear to keep them up. One thing, too, I hope that some of the folks watching had to watch yesterday also, and they'll notice you're hearing some of the same names that showed dairy cattle or pigs yesterday are here again showing beef. A lot of these youth are into various breeds and things, and through the course of the day, you'll recognize some names you heard yesterday, which is why it's important to watch every day.
Is there a limit to the amount of animals you can show?
There's a limit based on how much your parents want to help you do so many animals.
So tolerance level is what we're looking at.
That is the limit as to how much your family can handle. And again, if you have a large family and various animals and whatever. So the judges had them go around the ring once. He then lined them up in a row and walk through and watch them. Now he's having them make another circle to see leading, taking care? Have you learned the different things?
And again, this is more of a, like you just said, what did I tell you last time?
Yeah.
Did you make the adjustments now?
Right. And you notice the judge just raised his hands to stop. What he was looking for was how many of the youth were paying attention and stopped their animal as soon as he put his hand up in the air.
Okay. And again, that's always having your eyes on the judge.
eye contact for what his instructions are.
Do you think that means that he's having a hard decision, so he's really
no,
nitpicking?
No, what he did, if you notice, he stopped. He then, the first person in line, one of the show staff is holding the animal. That exhibitor is then going to the second animal. So we're going to see how he's going to do this. See, what he's going to do is this. He must have decided this is a pretty close class. So he asked that exhibitor to go get a different animal.
Really?
Now this exhibitor is then going to go walk to the next animal. The judge is going to see two things he's looking for. Number one, when you switch animals, there's a procedure. You go and you look at the animal and see, can you set it up? What he's looking for, too, is this an animal that's so good at showmanship it doesn't matter who leads it? Or as a showman, are you good enough to get an animal that you've never touched before and do what it takes to get it in the right positions?
And
so, again, both of these young ladies here, they got a new animal, and the first thing they're both doing is taking the animal around in a circle, and they're going to reset it up. So at which point then the next young lady moved to hers. Now this young lady is then going to have to go all the way to the front to pick up a new animal. The other thing this does too, as we were laughing of the young lady who had the calf.
Right.
Okay. Cuteness factor in the whole thing. He moved her to a larger animal. Okay. To see how she handles a larger animal. So does she know the theories of setting it up, keeping it calm, resetting it, and the whole thing, to understanding how to show the animal irregardless of the size.
And now with Trevor, he was moved to the smaller, the cute one.
The smaller one, the cute one. So, but still, can he still set the animal up and do no matter what the size? So again, the little calf was a little anxious. He takes it, moves it around in a circle, going to use his stick to calm it down and move its feet into the correct position.
Now, this is interesting. I didn't know that you could switch animals.
Yes.
So.
Again, it's the preference of the judge.
Yeah.
It's the preference of the judge. If you notice when he was giving his reasons before of how close everything was, well, now it still may be close in his mind, so he is now trying to find little things to say, you did this better than the other animal. He's over here talking to the young lady with the calf who now has a larger animal.
Now
asking
it
questions.
didn't look like it was it looked like it was
kinda,
pulling a little bit.
Yeah, it moved and whatever. The judge then walked away, so she's now resetting the animal and turning it in a circle again.
And her little calf that's now with Trevor is
Standing,
still cute, but
still cute, standing there just right, meaning he took over handling the calf and set it right back up in the position, head up straight. See, again, the judge just tapped him on the shoulder. He must have gave a good answer to whatever question he asked.
So
Judge
Barry,
Sinan is very good talking with the youth, giving encouragement and the whole thing.
So if you had to guess right now, Barry, what do you think is playing out?
Well, as he's going around, we'll watch and see. Now that he's talked to everybody who's been on a different animal, now we'll see how he goes about sending them back to their original animals, if they'll go all around, and then he'll watch and see. See, he just gave the signal he's going to move them all back around.
Okay,
he's
so
going to
now
have them actually lead the different animal.
So he's going to see how they lead
He's
them
going
now.
to see how they lead the new animal. They switched them while they were all standing still, reset and whatever. Now let's see how well you lead an animal that you've never led before.
And the idea, it's the same stance. Like, it's not every animal's difference on how you.
Whatever, you should be doing the same thing with the animal.
Now Trevor's having a little bit of trouble with the calf, but is that the calf's problem?
He started out well. Now it's the calf problem, but the judge knows this because he saw the original exhibitor have the same issue. So this is not an issue. It started off well. he's keeping its head up and it's still moving, but he is still having the same issue.
The staff member, are they pushing?
Yeah, they're just kind of with their hands in the back with a little bit of pressure to make them move.
So again, this is the top 3 from each of the classes in this intermediate
class. There were so many, divided it into 2 for these top 6. And again, there are all very good exhibitors. The judge is having quite a time trying to figure out and really put them in through the ringer here.
So you see they're all coming around again.
So they're all in line, but they're all at the wrong they're not on their original animals yet. So the judge is going to look and see, how are you setting it up? How do we move them back into their right positions? And we'll see how this works.
Okay, so it looks like
Trevor's going to go back and find his. Now the judge is going to watch how he does that. See, he's walking up, looking at his animal to see how it is.
making sure it's the right animal.
Making sure it's the right animal. Its feet set up right, and automatically he's looking till he's going to set the animal back up a little better. You can see him adjusting the hind feet to get more under the animal now that he's back to his own animal. He's then brushing it to keep it calm and talking to it. Now they'll go through and all the exhibitors will get back to their original animal.
Now they each, it almost looks like, especially with their stick, it almost looks like they're setting up a putt.
Yes.
But they're walking around the animal, making sure of what?
Of making sure that nothing has happened to the animal.
Nothing's
since
out of
they
whack.
left it. Do they need to brush the hair again? Are the feet set in the right place? And the whole thing before they go back to their animal. And they're looking around. You can see the young lady with the little calf did the same. She looked all around her animal to make sure it's still okay. It's going to adjust its feet a little bit. The judge has been watching this the whole time.
Now, he really has to be aware of everything that's going on. He can't just focus on one cattle at a time.
The judge is looking 3 different directions and looking at subtle little things. As you heard, he little things make the difference. He is making them work really hard so that when he picks whoever's in first place, they really have earned it.
Now, I am impressed with how much staff is inside the ring. Are they all former 4-H?
Most everyone here, yes, on the Ag Society staff has some connection with some type of animal over the years to do that. Kirby Dygert has shown horses, all kind of different animals. All the Granat sisters have shown for years, and whatever. I got as sisters rather than go through all their married names and whatever. But again, Jessica's here. Paula's over here on the side. Jessica Peel. All have ag backgrounds. That again is what makes this work here. These are all people who have a vested interest in the agricultural industry of Western New York and do the greatest job in the world to promote it.
I mean, the Erie County Fair does just a tremendous job with all of the interactive educational things that happen through the fair. And again, that is so important, especially in Western New York, with everything that goes on here. You know, we know where the milk comes from in Western New York when you go to the store to grab it. So again, to be able to continue this education through, what's going on right now, just again reinforces the commitment that the fair does have.
Yes, and it is a year-round thing going all the time. The only thing we are missing is my world-famous Ag Discovery birthing center. We were not able to birth calves at the fair this year and show everybody that, but I'm sure we'll be back next year. We'll have to try to line up enough cows to have a calf every day.
You know what, though? It's so interesting because you walk in and boom, it's just happening, and you see it, and that's what it is.
Yes.
And if you do that from the beginning, you know, it's not as alarming as one would think.
And again, everything educational, and again, why I appreciate WBBZ coming and doing this to still show the youth what they do and education, and hopefully everybody learns a little bit something today.
I really feel that he's really having he's really taking his time. Mike Sinan, again, Poughkeepsie, New York, is our judge. And he's spent a lot of time, again, 3 from the first class, 3 from the second class, and having them switch animals to see how they handle them, to asking them questions, to having them, he's really putting them through the ringer.
I think he's having a tough time deciding because, yes, he is. Sometimes when you're judging, it does jump right out at you as to who is top-notch and wherever, but he is doing a very good job talking to all the youth, asking questions, and I think he's having a tough time. It should be very interesting to hear his explanations when he's done, and I hope the seniors over here who are coming in next are paying attention to what he's doing because he's really working them hard.
How long I don't know if you know off the top of your head, the longest judging? How long has it gone for one round?
At any show?
Sure.
I've seen it go an hour.
Really?
If it's that tight, and again, it depends on the quality and size of the show. If it's a regional or national show and whatever, yes, they get down to splitting hairs, and it could take the judge a long time. One thing you can acknowledge to the youth and whatever, a lot of them you can see they have had their left arm up in the air a long time, and when they get done, you have to be physically fit to do this. And again, working with it all year long, our judge, he's got his head down. He's not looking around. I think he has his mind made up, and he doesn't want to give it away.
No, he's headed
as
to the
who he's
mics.
going to talk to. He'll probably go out, shake the hand of whoever he picks first.
So I've been throughout the years, I've been asked to judge a lot of showmanship shows from north to south and east to west, and I'll be the first to tell you, I absolutely hate it. It's gut-wrenching, it's heart-wrenching. These kids have worked their butts off, and this is only, I must be in the wrong spot, this is only the intermediate class. Wait till we get to the championship round. Intermediate championships, it's really, really tough. I've got 6 individuals out here that are doing a really nice job. Obviously, they've worked with these animals before, with the exception of, I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not too much of a man to tell you when I mess up. This young man down here in the red tells me it's his first time ever showing a beef animals. I'm here to tell you, if that's the case, somebody's in deep trouble a year or so from now, because you talk about calm, collective, never misses a beat. What a great job. Give him a round of applause already. My God, you fooled me, and that's all you're supposed to do is fool the judge. That's all you have to do. You did a great job. Congratulations. For me, it gets really tough. I'm going to be honest, I got 3 people that come right to the top for me each and every time. I am so close on a couple of them. It just comes down to a couple of personal preferences. And I will talk to each one of them. But for the championship go-around, I'm going to bring 3 people back in. But for the championship right now, I'm going to use the short-horn young lady for the champion, and this young lady down here with a spotted face steer for reserve. And my third is going to be this young lady right here. She's coming back in for the overall championship.
So there you go. Our judge has made his choices.
So he's bringing 3 back.
He's bringing 3 back. That's how close they were. He wants 3 to come back when they do.
Congratulations, everyone. Give them all a round of applause again.
That's how close it was, is that he wants to see all 3 of them to go up against the senior showman.
And the gentleman he was talking about, Trevor, who we talked about he was in the red shirt, his first year showing. And
first year showing.
That's
and
amazing.
It showed, and as the judge pointed out, he did all the things he was looking for, and the judge couldn't even tell until he asked him the question, how long have you been showing? And he gave the answer, this was his first year. So again, congratulations to all 6 of those. And again, our judge saying how close they were, how hard he worked them, and even then he couldn't decide the top 2.
It took him a long time.
It took him a long time, and he wants 3 back. But in first place again, the young lady who had the trick of blowing in the ear of her animal to make the ears stand up and whatever, really impressed him. She worked that animal all the time. So now we've got our senior showman coming in the ring. These are your youth who are between 17 and 21.
So
In
they
the ring here is the older, if you remember earlier, the young man, Cody Carlson, who the judge mentioned that he worked it really well. He must have older siblings who showed doing whatever that he was trying to beat. Yes, this is the point. His older brother is now in the ring.
All right, as we get set up for the senior class, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be back to watch this next group.
On behalf of all your Western New York dairy farmers, we assure you that our job has not changed. We are still caring for our animals as we do every day, and we are still producing a clean and healthy product that you can feel safe serving to your families. All the dairy products that reach your table are also on our own family table, never touched by human hands, and from the farm to the grocery store within 48 hours, 365 days a year, through calm or chaos. We promise.
All right, and we are back. It is the Senior Showman, Class 1. Like the previous one, this has been broken up into two classes. I'm Liz Mantel alongside Barry Flagsburg, and we were talking during the break that this is kind of, if you will, the cream of the crop because they've been through it, and they're supposed to know all the tricks and really be sharp.
And again, they've been sitting on the side listening to the judge give his reasons, what he's looking for, wherever. So as far as being ready, watch and see if this goes a little faster because he's going to be expecting these older showmen to already know all the things he's looking for, what to do in the whole thing, so that they're coming in ready to go. So he'll be able to sort out the cream of the crop here. And again, we have some older siblings in this
earlier.
with the Carlsons. Cole Carlson is in the ring now, his younger brother Cody. Placed second earlier where the judge mentioned you must have older siblings. You're going against whoever. Here it is. And again, Cole is the middle of the Carlson boys. The older one is now off to college and showed beef also. So again, the whole family has been doing it. Young Mr. Crone is in the ring this time. His family, older sister, has shown beef and animals for a long time. So it is a family tradition that you get doing whatever. And the younger the sibling, the more is expected of them because they've been doing it longer and whatever. The oldest sibling usually goes, well, gee, you got the better of the cattle, by the time you're doing whatever. So there is quite a bit of competition amongst the families, but all together, again, the family atmosphere, everyone working together.
You were saying that this class, this group, showman, might not take as long because of the experience.
Yes, you notice the judge has already gone through and talked to everybody. That went pretty quick.
It did.
It compared
because
to
he's not necessarily saying,
how old are you?
Right.
What kind of animal do you have? He's already going to be into the bigger technical questions and knowing who's leading that animal properly right off the bat.
Now, did I hear you earlier correctly, Barry? Did you say that before they come into the ring, before they even come into the showplex, he's already walked through the barns?
No.
He hasn't. This is the first time they see him.
This is the first time he's seen the youth. And the judge hasn't seen a thing. He's coming in cold, so he has no preconceived conception of anything.
Not seeing what the stall looks like, not seeing
the stall, the name above it, who it is, or whatever.
It's just what it looks.
It's just here. Now, generally, most judges, after they're all done, he will walk through the barn, congratulate the exhibitors and whatever. But prior to the show, no,
Nothing.
he hasn't seen a thing. A lot of times, we started on time today. A lot of times your show doesn't start on time because the judge drives right in and is ready to go and does it if he gets caught in traffic or whatever. Has an officially spare time when heavy traffic. But in this case, they have not seen a thing.
So it's a blind tasting, if you will.
Yes. So he doesn't know names, things, or whatever. Now, if you do show all over, he may recognize you from the circuit, so to speak, yes, as the who's who. But no, he is totally doing anything, no preconceptions.
As you can see, just to the right of the judge, we've got one of the girls calming her cattle down, walking her.
Yeah,
Do you still expect to see this as they get older? Do you expect them to be able to keep their cattle calm while they stand there?
Yes, as he's looking, that is probably one of the things that may count against. You should, if you've worked with this animal long enough as a showman, even if you've only worked with the animal for 2 years or a year or so, as a showman, you should already know how to work the kinks out of your animal to do that. So you've got, as he's looking to see, who hasn't moved. Their animal hasn't moved since he told them to stop.
Right. You know what I'm impressed by? We have some of the bios from some of the boys and girls that are showing, and a lot of them have a ton of other interests that they do. And knowing just how much, a normal, like a dog or a cat, how much time and effort that takes to make sure they're taken care of, on top of being able to still do gymnastics and all of your other activities, you've got this cattle that you have to take care of. You have to make sure that you're working with them, make sure that you know them. That's dedication.
It's dedication, but it also teaches how to budget and allocate your time, knowing what's important. You're being physically active all the time and whatever in doing. So it helps to make the well-rounded youth as to, most youth are thrilled when show season over because maybe for the first time in 4 months they could sleep till 9 o'clock in the morning and like that. So again, it instills that work ethic. If you really enjoy doing this and whatever, yes, then it makes you get things done, understand a schedule, take instruction. A lot of your youth who show animals are good in sports because it's working together, taking instruction and learning, growing and getting better and staying active.
Now, for these cattle, are they part of a bigger herd? Are they kept separately, or does it?
Most farms, if you do show cattle to keep them clean, working with them every day, you generally have a part of your barn where your show animals are.
Okay.
Just so that they're easy to, if your beef cow is something you want to show doing whatever, you don't want it mixed in with the other 50 in the big barn. You got to go hunt for it, sort it out and whatever. Generally, that gets that extra special care of
you don't
its
want
own.
them you don't want them in with the wrong crowd.
Right, as to learn the bad habits and the whole thing. Easy to get to, easy to work with, put in and out, clean in the whole thing. So at which point, yes, you generally pick out what you want as your show animal, start working with that, have it set up separate so it's easy to get to and like that. You don't, you come home from school and, I want to go work with my show animal. And Dad goes, well, no, we just turned them out. And they're all way back there, and it's snowing, and it's muddy. And you go, well, no, I want to keep it clean, and its hair good. Okay, we'll build you a separate pen and doing whatever. So, again, that's part of looking for the disposition in these animals as to how calm they are with the music and the whole thing. It's probably got, if you've got 2 or 3 that you like to show, those 2 or 3 are in their own pen, get kept clean, get a bath regular to keep the hair and skin in good condition.
So how, because we see they're all clean, and again, the judge checks for that to make sure, how much before, how close to showtime are they washing down their...
To keep the hair growth consistent and whatever, you may be washing that animal 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
And you probably have as much hair care products for your animal as you do in your own bathroom, because special shampoo, growth, and clipping it so the hair stays a certain length so it doesn't get too tall, too short. You're doing a whole grooming routine of this animal all along, so at which point you need to be able to work with that animal all the time.
So compared to, let's say, the herd that you don't want them to get mixed up in, how often, are they, do they get baths too?
No.
No.
No, not
because they're not being showed off.
They're not being shown to where you keep them somewhat clean if they're outside. It rains every once in a while,
Right.
but you're not going to. It's not going to get the deep cleaning all over that the sheer show animals do.
They're not Instagram ready.
Right.
Is pretty much what we're saying.
Right,
All
because you want them to. You just don't start last week to get it all cleaned up and everything turned out right. You're working on this all year long. The disposition, the hair, because if you notice, the hair growth is consistent all the way across the
Correct.
animal. There's no splotches where maybe they were stuck on mud or anything like that. They're groomed head to toe, all completely clear. That's again why the judge, when he goes and puts his hands on them or whatever, to see is this all natural hair, nice and you haven't got hairspray sticking up to cover
Trying
a
to make
bald
it seem
spot, or
right.
again the consistency of You don't give your beef cow a toupee or anything like that to cover up or put a wig on it
Wouldn't
or whatever.
that just
this
be quite
is
the-
all natural, which you've been working on all year long to get your animal that way.
All right, so it looks like he's
Made a tentative lineup. Now he's asked. Looks like he's asked the first 4 to walk by him.
Why do they need their left? I mean, because you see it, their left hand is, again, it almost looks like they're lining up for a putt. They've got their putter.
The stick
Why-
is up, because that shows the judge you have that up in the air. It's not dragging where it can be a distraction, get caught under the exhibitor's feet or the cattle's feet, or you keep it up in the air until you need to use it.
And again, that stick is used to help place their feet, keep them calm,
rub their belly like that. So you want to show you have the animal under control, you have your stick under control, and walking at a good even pace with your animal. So our judge has now figured out these are his top 4. That's why the other 3, again, as senior showman, it was pretty quick to eliminate. No, I don't need to talk to you or whatever. In theory, you've had plenty of time
to figure
it out. Today, you don't exactly have it, so now I've picked the 4 I want to see.
So now he has to try and whittle it down again to 2, although in the last one he picked 3 to go
And
on.
again, we'll wait and see what he does. Already you've seen he's got 4 here. So he's now trying to figure out who do we want to change.
Now, I know that the cows, cattle don't have control over this, but my eye is drawn to that last one because, it's brown and white.
And the color and
the
whatever.
color, does that?
No, because again, he's looking at how you set the animal up, not what kind it is. Now later when we do the breed classes, the Angus will go against the Angus, the Herefords against the Herefords, but with this, it's how you are showing the animal, which is why, again, in the previous class when he switched the people around, here's a different animal. Do you know how to show the animal?
Now, you said Angus and Hereford. What's the difference between the 2?
Well, the Angus are in this class now. It's an Angus. He's going. They are black. The beefier and wherever. The Herefords are the more reddish and white colored animals. Each breed has a different style of how their beef ends up, how you feed it and whatever, and it turns into personal preference as to what you're just used to. If you grew up on an Angus farm, that's what you have the most knowledge of. You probably keep with the breed that you have and generally don't have a different style.
Is there, when you go to the store and they're like, oh, Angus, Angus certified, Hereford, I mean, is there a difference? I mean, I know you said a personal preference, but on paper, is there
on
one
paper,
superior?
yes, there is. There are different types of beef, how they're fed, the style and whatever. So like you said, there is Angus beef or...
But is one better than the other?
It's all personal preference.
What are you, a politician right now? Come on,
yes,
pick one.
accordingly, I am not. Every type of beef is wonderful. If you want to get into the particulars during our next break, maybe we could get a hold of Russ Salvatore and he can get into that. As to Russ is the expert on cooking it. What you have here is the people who are the experts on growing it.
Well,
and
they all
like
look
that.
beautiful,
yes.
and I'm sure they all are delicious.
And
but
Russ,
it is
I'm sure, will
interesting.
be the first one to tell you, great piece of beef. If you burn it, it's a bad piece of beef, no matter where it came from. So.
There you go.
But again, you can see our judge is working really hard here. He's gone around and talked to everybody.
And
he's going to bring them out.
So is that signaling where they need to go line up, or is
Yeah,
he
he
just
wants
telling
to
them?
bring them back up to the front. And again, you're about to hear
He's
his
got his mic.
explanations as to who he's going to pick.
We'll listen in.
We'll see what he has to say.
All day long, how crooked that is.
And here he's he's going to keep this one out. This is his first place.
He's having some issues with his microphone.
He's having
We're going to listen into Judge
issues
Mike
with the
Simon.
mic, so that means I just get to keep talking here. So he has the gentleman out here all by himself, so I'm pretty sure this is who he's going to pick for first.
Test.
And
Test. There we go.
There we
All
go.
right, we got it. All right. I knew as the day was going to go on, it wasn't going to get any easier, and certainly it's that way all the way down through here. And I know you're going to hear me say that all day. One thing you're going to find me do is take my time with these young people. I don't care if there's 10 head here or 100 head. We're going to take our time and make sure that I'm comfortable when I drive back to Dutchess County, New York, of my decision making today, and that's why I take a little longer each time. I'm really, really impressed with all these young people up here. The young man that is here that starts us out comes to the top really easily for me. I'm all the way down here several times, and he's all the way over there, and he's just calm and easy. He catches that steer's eye, catches my eye. He looks at the hose. He never misses. I turn my head a little bit. If I walk all the way up here, parents, don't think that I'm not paying attention to your child that's fourth in class down there. I've been doing this like 40 years. I know what they did and what they didn't do, okay? So I'm well aware of which one, where they're at. This young man never missed a beat, and again, I think that this steer has been shown before. If he comes back and tells me, nope, never been shown, we just took him out of the field, I will quit. But he did a really nice job. Give him a round of applause. Get into second and third, and I'm telling you, this is so close. It could very easily change in a championship, go around in the senior division. For me, this young man does a really nice job with an Angus heifer that tends to want to get out of line several times, but he doesn't get upset, doesn't smack her with the show stick, just kind of drifts her back into place, starts over again, and just real calm and easy, has a nice presence about him. Real nice presence about him. I think he's going to do well in the job market, whether he stays in cattle or becomes an engineer. He's very calm, he looks at you, and he's very soft-spoken. He's got a nice, honest voice about him. Congratulations, this young man. This young man I've gotten third, I think, can come back and maybe even win the senior thing. We talked about one or two little misfires over here. For me, I'm a steer guy. I grew up in the steer world. I like for a little pizzazz, a little zip to him, and a couple of times he had that steer just looking a little plain, a little dull-headed. The steer wanted to get his head out and not really reach up in the sky a little bit. More importantly, though, he likes to plant those back hooves together instead of giving me a little bit of an offset look, and I like the offset look. If, the left will be ahead of the right a little bit, if you will, and several times we didn't get to doing that. And that steer is a pretty good steer. He could show him just a tick better to give me a little bit better look, but I think he's going to be awful competitive in the championship drive. I'll put it that way. Congratulations. I absolutely love the young lady that comes out with a shorthorn steer. I talked to her. This, again, matter of personal preference and showmanship, everything is. This old steer tends to cut his flank a little bit and doesn't give us enough down low in his flank. So for me, I want to try and drop his back down a little bit. So I told her to poke that top a couple of times. And maybe Mom and Dad, if we get a chance before the next show or two, we're going to go ahead and just snip that halter off about 4 or 5 inches. It's just blowing in the breeze, and it's kind of distracting away from her a little bit. So congratulations. I talked to these three young ladies down here. Nothing against any one of the three, moms and dads. If you want to ask them what I talked about, feel free to. I don't feel like there's an individual that hasn't worked on their animal, individual that doesn't deserve to be higher in another day. But for today, I just saw a lot more power ahead of them. Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations in Heat 1 of our senior showmanship. First place will be Chase Gerhardt. Second, Cole Carlson. Third, Benjamin Crone. Fourth, Brooke Eddy. Fifth, Brooke Gerhardt. Sixth, Julia Uranick. And seventh, Brittany McElwain. Coming back to compete for your champion, reserve champion senior showman will be Chase Gerhardt, Cole Carlson, and Benjamin Crone. Now in the ring is break 2 of our senior showmen. We'll be looking for Jennifer Holscher, Lacey Schreiber, Sarah Lippert, Taylor Schofield, Kara Ando, Josh Carter, and Corinne Sakalowski.
You saw that quick shot there of Kirby doing the announcing with the young lady in her lap that can't be more than 2-3 months old. This is also a tradition here. We start the kids very young.
You bring them.
We bring them young, get them in the ring, get the experience. Whoop, we got one that's zipping right along here, which will then wind up everybody else.
Yeah.
We'll kind of hold everyone for a second while we gather up.
So now while this happens, it's your job as the owner to make sure that your cattle stays calm.
That's why
this.
everyone else stays still. You just gradually walk in, walk up to the animal. She's got it back, and she'll go right back in line again.
Now, has that hurt her because she's walked into the ring?
No. Yeah, what the judge is mainly going to do more is watch how she handles this with getting the animal back under control, back into line and whatever to say, or maybe is the animal just not having a good day and is going to act up the rest of the time. Just not sure.
It just might not be
be her day with that animal.
So again, this is the second class of the group.
This is the second half of the seniors, yes.
Okay. So we're going to go to a break really quick, and then we'll come back and see who from this class gets to go on to the finals.
Imagine a world without milk. It would be a tragic, tasteless existence. After all, with no cheese, how would anyone know when to smile? With no milk, why would anyone want to? But there is hope. Your Western New York dairy farmers are committed to providing the most wholesome, delicious milk products possible, returning smiles to tables and order in the universe.
So, everyone's okay with a cow in the house?
Milk for Health. The guys with the cows.
Connect with WBBZ TV, your hometown MeTV station. Channel 67.1 over the air and DirecTV, Channel 5 on cable, Fios, and Dish.
Chill out with some hot classics.
Online at our website, WBBZ.TV, with information about your favorite shows and hometown buzz.
Feeling a little frisky?
Join the conversation at WBBZ TV on Facebook, at WBBZ on Twitter, and check out our YouTube channel with playlists of our hometown programming.
Yes, sir. I'm going to lay around home and just take it easy.
WBBZ on TV and online, your hometown MeTV station.
The Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza. I'm Liz Mantel alongside Barry Flansburgh, and we are in the second class now of the senior showmen. And again, from the first one, we had our winners that will then go on to the final between these two classes.
For the seniors, yes. You can see our judge is doing the same thing again. He has these seniors out there. They've gone around the ring once. He's now lined them up, going down and talking to each exhibitor. Same routine with the seniors that he did with the Pee-wees at the very beginning. Talking to each exhibitor, putting his hand on the animal, talking to them, moving around, all the while looking, asking questions, and doing his judging.
When you're placed in the class, the first class or the second class, are you judged more harshly in the second one because you've had a chance to listen to the first one?
Yes, he's going to be looking to see if you made the adjustments of what he talked to you about the first time.
So as a showman, which class would you rather be in?
Well, it really doesn't matter, because once he takes these three, the other three come back, he starts from scratch all over again as to how he's going to place them, but he is looking to see, did you improve on what he thought was your problem before.
But if you're showing your cattle, let me be in the first one so I'm not judged maybe, as hard because I didn't have a chance to listen.
Right, and there's the joy of how we do it. As you enter, you go in the book.
I was saying, I'm splitting hairs right now.
Yes,
but
and where it's just a matter of when with our show book and whatever, they are in alphabetically with most of the people. Then it changes. If you are a late entry, you're in the end. So we have mostly alphabetical, and then from there. So it's just the luck of the
It's
draw.
just how it happens.
Because you don't know how many exhibitors there may be. Maybe there was just enough for one class and it wouldn't have been split.
So basically, just do your best, prepare your best, and listen.
Yeah, and listen. And listen to the judge. Every judge is different. Do your best. Listen and see what happens from there.
So I've really been watching now since from the beginning when you said it's really important to always have the eyes on the judge. And one of the things that I noticed in the last class, Chase Gearhart was the one that finished in first. And as he was exiting the ring, he always was looking back to see if the judge was going to have him do something. Until he left the showplex.
Until he was out of there.
He had his eyes back on the
so
judge.
that shows you somebody who was really paying attention. The judge was probably paying attention to that because once you cross the line and get in the ring, you're showing all the time.
But that awareness to know that even though he's already said that I've placed first and it's okay for me to go, I'm going to make sure he knows that I'm still following what he's looking for. But like you said, that wipes clean when it comes time to
start
get
all
the finalists.
over again from there. But again, that shows the intensity and trying to figure what are the little details that can make me a little better the next time.
So
maybe it doesn't matter to this judge, but maybe the next time I show that other judge is looking at that thing more than the other. And as our judges mentioned, being a judge for over 40 years and he's very impressed with the youth here in Western New York and is having quite a time, and he wants to make sure he does a good job.
So one of the girls right now is, again, trying to calm her cattle. She's walking her around. But she used her foot instead of the stick. She put her foot, and I've seen that quite a bit. People, they're kind of leaning back, putting their foot.
Yeah,
what are they doing there?
That same thing. They're just using their foot instead of the stick.
Oh, okay.
Because especially if they can just gradually move their foot without moving the stick, the judge, depending on where
Might not
he is,
see it.
might not see that.
I gotcha. Okay.
But the stick, again, they're holding it up in the air when they're moving around. If he sees the stick up in the air and your animal's all set up correctly, well, that's pretty good. Well, you didn't see me kind of slide.
It's a little sportsmanship there,
does,
trying to get in there.
Does help to be long-legged in doing that with your beef cattle to do that. But again, you can see he's got that look on his face like he's having trouble again this round.
It's the troubled position look.
Yes.
He's got his hand on his.
And see, he stopped, he turned, and he's looking backwards, and also I think he's looking down the line with one eye and was looking at this exhibitor to see if she moved her animal while he was doing, and kind of standing there waiting for this one to come back in line.
And I definitely think if he's having trouble, he's looking for the littlest things. Like, do you have your eyes on me? Do you see that I've looked back at you?
Yeah, because we are in senior showmanship where he's looking for the little details of what's going on as he goes back around. And again, he's back to back. This is the young lady whose steer got loose right at the beginning, but he's back looking, going, she had a little trouble when she first went in, but now she's right back in the business of that animal is standing still. She's got it set up, heads up in the air, ears are up.
Which shows that, hey, listen, yeah, you were rattled in the beginning, but how you're composing yourself now.
You kept working the animal to try to do the best. It may be the one little thing that he goes, well, she's going to have to be second rather than first because she had a little hiccup.
And again, the judging starts as soon as they cross into the ring, all the way till they leave it.
Yes.
And again, this is the second class. We had the first class of the senior showman. Pick three. It's going to pick another three here probably, and then they'll go on.
And go again, yes.
And then they all go against from the intermediate to the
top
peewee.
Two of every one will all come back, so that peewee will have a chance to compete against the senior showman for the overall showman.
Now, how often does that happen where a peewee kind of shows them up?
That will happen if that peewee is like the fourth sibling in the line of a family that's doing it forever and really knows, really knows how to do it. I mean, yes.
It's possible is what you're saying.
Yes, it is possible. It's rare, and usually when it happens, yes, it is the third or fourth sibling in line who has been instructed since they were like 2 years old as to how to do it, and they know all the tricks, and you learn picking up on the details.
So it looks like he's almost getting them in line because he's got them separated.
Yeah, he's got 3 there and 3 the other. Well, there's still 4 out there, so we'll see what his definition here of how he's doing it.
So I would assume that the 4 that are here lined up on the right of your screen are the ones that he now has to decide between. Would you assume?
I think, yeah, probably, since unfortunately, well, maybe not.
I don't know. He's looking over there now.
Yes. He's thinking.
Who's at the top? Who's at the bottom?
I give our judge a lot of credit. He is very thoughtful, looking through everything, making sure he does a good job.
He came in this morning, and I said, wow, this guy obviously knows what he's doing. I didn't know he was the judge. Serious business, hard shell. But I tell you what, you can tell that he really loves what he does, and he wants to make sure that the kids not only have a good time but learn something from it. He's been really good
and
talking to each kid.
Most fairs and cattle organizations, when they get done, they come up with a list of good judges that gets passed around or whatever to say, who's a good judge, who did a good job for the youth, and back and forth, and you get out there and well known at it, and yes, you get asked a lot to travel all around and judge.
When he was figuring out the final for the intermediate, where, by the way, he chose 3 people to move on to the final, he got a little emotional there talking about how hard this is for him because he knows how much work goes into it.
Showmanship is hard because you are dealing with the youth, and it's all subjective in your mind and whatever. When we get into the actual judging of the cattle, that gets a little easier. It is what it is, and that's it. But when you're dealing with the youth, you know how hard they've worked from first place to last place, and it's really hard to then try to come up with the specific little reasons as to why you go for it or don't go for it or whatever.
And he did say, on that.
And this is going to be interesting if this is how he's coming about with his top 3 for this time. This will be a very good example of what he's been talking about. I believe if we figured out how he's doing things, he might have in this group second the young lady who lost her animal coming into the ring.
Oh, really? Again, because of how she recovered.
How she recovered. Again, constantly working the animal. So this again is another example of why you never give up and you keep working at it. She had the knowledge. She had an animal that wasn't there at the beginning, but she worked it all the way to the end and brought the animal around.
She must have blown in its ear.
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing probably blowing in the animal's ear was not what took place. I'm sure there was something that went into the animal's ear, but I'm guessing it was not blowing in the ear. So the animal, as in showing cattle similar to your own children or whatever, there are certain phrases that mom and dad use that that means mom and dad mean business. And I'm guessing she probably has a couple phrases that she has used on that animal before, and that animal heard it and went, okay, we're back to business.
I will turn you around right now.
Yes. No, a lot of times the word McDonald's or Russ Salvatore might have been whispered in that animal's ear,
This
and
is
then
gonna go 2 ways.
Yes. We're either going to do real well or so again, that's I think, don't let me get ahead of myself here, but I think maybe that's what our judge has done. It'll be interesting to hear his explanation if that's what happens. So he is working forward. He's talked to the people.
And look, it looks
Here's
like
our
he's coming.
judge. Let's see what he says and how close I am to reading his mind.
Wow, really, really nice, super good class of seniors. I feel sorry for the first group of seniors. I know we had, I think, 3 boys on top of that, and now we got 3 girls that are just unbelievably powerful, so I feel awful sorry for those boys coming back in. They're going to have to work awful hard now. But I do like the young lady that starts us off from the time she comes in, she's just in go gear, She's smooth, she's easy. Quite obviously not the first time in a show ring, I don't believe. And she knows her animals. She's out there. just gives you that picture. If you're going to take a picture and put it in a magazine or an ad, she can do it right there for you at any time you want. Really nice job, professional job, good job, young lady. Same thing with a young lady in second. I'll be the first to tell you that the calf got loose. The calf wants to bounce around on her, but honestly, this kid can flat show. I mean, if I give this calf to anybody else, including maybe a couple of those boys or even anybody in the whole show today, they're not going to do near the job that this young lady's done with this calf since he got a hold of himself and calmed down and just did an unbelievable job. Really smooth. She doesn't get frustrated. He bounced her right out of the ring over there before. She just came back and just did her job. I'm not one when a calf gets loose to put her that high up, but I'm telling you, she regained control and did an unbelievably smooth, easy job. Good job. Love, love, love the young lady in third coming in. She killed it coming in right from the get-go. It just got to where we talked about it once or twice, maybe just a little bit on the rear legs out, but she will be back in for the championship drive, and I think she's confident that she knows where we stood. I love the way she sets the animal up, gives you a nice presence and a lot of look about her. A really nice young lady to talk to, very calm and easygoing. I like that, the show ring presence. As we get down to the other four individuals, I talked to each one of them. I told them where we stood. Either the calf was out of line, the little Angus heifer, a couple times she looked a little plain coming out of her head, and sometimes we just got to give them just a little more angularity to them. We got to do anything we can to make the animal look better. They're not going to look better by themselves, okay? Same thing here with this young lady bringing this big stout steer in here. He just got out of line so bad on over the side here, and she understood. The young lady coming here next, I think on a different day, this young lady's going to be easily up in the top or half of the class. But she agreed. We got a little bit out of control on the side here, and she has a great attitude about it. I just had to put her where I did just because she was bouncing to side a little bit, but really a nice job. The young man, I talked to him, he just got a little backwards a couple of times when I was talking to him. We got to stay in front of that animal. We got to stay control of him. Great job, though. Congratulations, everyone. Give them all a round of applause.
Congratulations in Class 2, Senior Showman. First place go to Jennifer Holscher. Second, Corinne Sakalowski. Third, Kara Ando. Fourth, Taylor Schofield. Fifth, Sarah Lippert. Sixth, Lacey Schreiber, and seventh, Josh Carter. Now in the ring will be our top three of our two classes of Senior Showmen, back to compete for your top 6 Senior Showmen. Out of Class 1, coming back to compete is Chase Gerhardt, Cole Carlson, and Benjamin Crone. And out of Class 2, Jennifer Holscher, Corinne Sakalowski, and Kara Ando. Please join me in putting your hands together for our Senior Showmen at the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza.
This one's going to be good.
This one is going to be good. All right, before we get to it, because we do want to get all the action, let's take a quick break.
Milk and cheese and yogurt make me sing every day, 'cause milk is amazing. Drink milk to grow up with strong bones. 3 times a day, vitamin D and calcium. So drink it with chocolate, put it on your pizza. How about berries? It's always a treat. Milk is amazing.
Show me a fillet, show me a strip, a Russell's cut, a ribeye, or a crab dip. Come dine with me just right. Where would you like to have dinner tonight? Russell's, of course. Russell's, of course. Where would you like to have dinner tonight? Russell's, of course.
Be my guest and let us do the rest.
All right, we're back. It's the championship drive for the Senior Showman. It's the Western New York Youth in Ag Bonanza. I'm Liz Mantel alongside of Barry Flansburgh, who is our expert. And I can say you're the expert. I mean, you've pretty much gotten inside the judge's head. You've been able to call it. Let's talk about Corinne, who was the one at the second class. Right when she came in the ring, her cattle got loose.
And she did. It got loose. I was watching, and so was the judge. It got loose, but she got that animal under control, got it back in shape and whatever, and he watched that. He saw she knew how to show. You notice with his comments and whatever that she could really show and do. He could tell that she knew what she was doing and got that animal back under control, that it was a fluke, that it got away, and she handled it, kept her composure, and brought that animal right back to where he recognized it.
And now she's in the championship drive, so these are the top 3 of each class. And you said during the break, this one's going to be a hard one.
This is going to be a hard one because if you've been listening to the judge in his comments for both of these, he talked about with the last class with the 3 young ladies winning, and he warned the 3 young men that it was going to be tough as to doing. And you can see our judge, he's already out there. He's got his hands behind his head. He's got issues. This is going to come down to watch and see if he doesn't change animals with everybody again, like he did in the intermediate showman, of making them all line up and change animals to see how they do handling a different animal, and see how they move around into somebody different, handle that heifer that was a little out of control. And right now I think that heifer was pretty wound up at the beginning.
So she's having
I'm
some
looking
trouble.
to see what
And you've got another staffer there making
that's
sure.
yeah, as to he was wound up at the beginning, and now he's getting tired. So he's getting a little, he kind of thought, well, gee, I got you second
I know,
place.
Mom, I
thought
already did the
we're
work."
supposed to be done, but no, now. So that steerer's starting to think, yeah, I'm getting a little tired here. But again, she got it back under control, moving, and is moving well around the ring.
So what you're saying is when he has them switch animals, he wants to see how well, maybe Chase, who's the first person, well, he's not on your screen right now, but maybe how Chase handles them, because
Right.
maybe it's
Somebody
less about her and more about
the animal.
Right.
As to, do you know how to do? So does somebody who's doing really well with their animal have trouble with this one, have even more trouble to show that this young lady is really doing a good job with an animal that's pretty wound up?
because the animal is really making her work this round.
Yes. Because, again, that animal was probably thinking it's not supposed to take this long. And they do all get a little antsy. This is a long time. The judge, because the exhibitors are so good and close together, he's working them quite extensively, which the youth and the cattle both get tired. This is hard work. So he's going to make them go around again. He's still thinking, and we'll see if he switches.
And you can see that's Chase going across our screen right now, and he's got his pole up very high, as does the next one. And again, you're saying that's important, because if you're using that stick, it means you're
using both hands to try to control the animal wherever. You've got that stick way out in your left hand. And again, the subtle little things people ask, if you notice, showing cattle is like NASCAR. You always go the same direction, okay? Because the judge is in the middle, and then he's making everyone go and turn the same way. And then when you stop and turn, you're coming back. Everyone's doing it the same way.
The same way.
Yes.
And
he's looking and thinking, and he's making them move around. He's making them come straight across the center to line up. We'll see what transpires here if he's about to switch them.
And again, Corinne's still having some struggles. You can see that they have someone out there helping her
Yep.
move the animal
That
along.
animal is starting to get a little tired.
Now, is there a concern when that happens, when they start to get a little restless?
A little, just that it's taking so long. They're not used to working this long in the ring. So why, again, as the youth, you're trying to pick your showmanship animal that has the disposition that in case you have to be out here
that can
half
handle
an hour,
it.
45 minutes, it's used to that. And a lot of times, too, you're working with your animal at home half an hour, 45 minutes a day or whatever. The animal kind of gets programmed into
senior showman.
Here he goes.
I do this every once in a while, and I think it's kind of fun. In the senior division, we can go, are we true we're up to 21 or are we 4-H? 21. So we go up to 21-year-olds. So I think it's interesting to get to know the individuals and find out a little bit about them. So as I walk around, I'll ask each one of them where they're from. And it's not going to make any difference, just what their intentions are as life goes on.
I'm Chase Gerhardt. I'm from Marilla, New York. I show here at Erie County Fair. What I'm going to be taking over, well, my goal is to take over this farm that they bring the public in and they show them about livestock and teach city people about the ag.
So a young man that's going to show us some ag education in the future, he hopes to do.
We'll see if Cole
Next young man,
Carlson
make
makes
sure he
his
tells us
father
your name and where you're
proud by
from and your
mentioning Ohio
aspirations.
State.
Oh, OH.
My name's Cole Carlson. I'm 19 years old from Byron, New York, and I'm going to SUNY Cobleskill for agricultural business.
Well, I can tell you, Cole, you're in trouble because I went to SUNY Cobleskill just a few years ago, and this is what happens to you, okay? Good luck.
His dad is our vet. That's
Hello,
why.
my name's Ben Cohen. I'm 17 years old. I show at Genesee County my life goal is to become an agricultural welder.
Only smart one in the group so far. Money is the only reason we can have show cattle. Everybody remember that.
My name is Jennifer Holscher. I'm from Eden, New York, and I will be attending Blackhawk East in Illinois for agribusiness management.
One of the more premier ag schools in the country. Good job, young lady.
Hi, my name is Corinne Sakolowski. I'm from Springville, New York, and I show here at Erie County, and I'm going to school for communications and media relations.
All right. You want to take over the mic right now? No? You're waiting? Okay.
She's going to take our
And
seat.
certainly
here,
last
Liz.
but not least, young lady.
I'm Kara Ando. I'm from Houghton, New York, and I'm currently pursuing my bachelor's in agricultural entrepreneurship.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. There's a mouthful. So let's give them all a round of applause to see where they're going to land in the future. Anyone that knows me knows that I just absolutely love young people. I've dealt with young people throughout certainly the ag industry and the sports world my whole life. I am a big person that believes that these young people have to have confidence. We have to give them confidence. We have to show them and lead them by example, okay? And I can tell you that every single person that's been out here so far today, whether they were first or last, they've got good parents that are raising them. I know you don't have to hear that, but it's nice to hear it from me. I'm going to go ahead and pick your two senior champions so we can move on to this championship drive. It's been a pleasure with the seniors, and I wish them all well. I found a couple of people. I will tell you that several of them may have moved up a spot or two since their last go-around. Okay? Just telling you that. But right now, I've got two individuals that keep coming back to me each and every time, and I think they're well-deserving of these champion and reserves, and we'll see where we go.
Watch what happens here just by his last comment as to what's going to happen. This is going to be interesting. He now has the exhibitors all tense as to what's what. Kind of. There he goes.
Jennifer Holscher. Here, champion senior showman going to Miss Jennifer Holscher. Reserve champion senior showman will go to Mr. Chase Gerhardt.
There you go.
Once again, congratulations to all of those senior showmen. We will now get started with our overall champion and reserve champion showmanship. We'll be looking for your champion reserve out of each age division to come back and compete for Grand Reserve overall showman.
I think our judge tipped his hand a little bit when he did the second group with the three young ladies and warned the three gentlemen that they had their work cut out for them for the next go-around. I think he kind of tipped his hand as to who he liked out of the whole thing, kind of warning the guys that all three guys better step it up.
Will be Mr. Ethan Broughton of Silver Springs, New York.
So now we're going to bring back first and second of all the different age groups to create the master showman.
Your junior division champion junior showman was Miss Gianna Marino of Clarence Center, New York. Reserve champion junior showman was exhibited by Cody Carlson of Byron, New York. Coming in from the intermediate division, your champion intermediate showman was Miss Caitlin Broughton of Silver Springs, New York.
And he wanted 3 of the intermediates.
Reserve champion intermediate showman was Miss Amelia Hint-Strube of Springville, New York. Mr. Simon did ask that we bring the 3rd intermediate showman in, and that was Miss Kyra Pence of Randolph, New York. And out of your senior division, your champion senior showman is Miss Jennifer Holscher of Eden, New York, and reserve champion Mr. Chase Gerhart of East Aurora, New York. Please put your hands together and congratulate all of the showmen at the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza.
Now, he has been watching all these youth for quite a while, so I'm not sure he's going to take a whole lot of time here deciding what to do. It won't be the lengthy going around and around a number of times or whatever, because he has asked them to come out into the ring in a line. So, yeah, we'll wait a second to see here if we need a break or not. Hang on, advertisers, as to we're not sure what he's going to do here.
Are you saying that the slate's not necessarily wiped clean on this one?
Right. He does have some. He already has all his preconceived notions is what he's looking for. Our Pee Wee showman has decided he's going to go take a tour with his animal.
He wants to move up.
Yeah, he's already trying to move in here, but I'm waiting to see how he's going to do this.
And again, you have staff in there to make sure that
he'll check and see how to do it.
Say we're having some. They're all tired.
They're all tired. They've been at it a while, especially the Pee Wees and the juniors that were. I don't even know what time it is.
So they've been waiting.
They've been waiting for quite a while since they started.
Say it's been 2. We've started at 11.
So here he goes. He's going to make them walk around a minute. If you got a quick 2-minute set of commercials, now's the best time to do it while he's still looking.
All right. Why don't we go ahead then and let's take a quick break and we'll come back.
Milk Times 3 is good for me. 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 Strong bones. Healthy bodies. Tastes great.
Milk with chocolate, yogurt, cheese.
Make me healthy, stronger, please.
Milk Times 3 is good for me. Milk Times 3 is good for me. Milk Times 3 is good for me.
The Erie County Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York. One of the Northeast's premier agriculture and entertainment destinations. Home to the Erie County Fair, the Fairgrounds Event Center, Buffalo Raceway, Hamburg Gaming, and host to nationally recognized livestock, ag industry shows, and award-winning ag education programs. Annually, the state-of-the-art Agriculture Discovery Center and Showplex buildings attract thousands of participants and their livestock for events like the Empire State Beef Classic, the Spring Dairy Preview, and the National Junior Swine Association Eastern Regional Hog Show. Located near Buffalo and the U.S.-Canadian border, the Erie County Fairgrounds is a convenient drive from points across the East. Where competitors and champions grow, we'll see you soon at the Erie County Fairgrounds in Hamburg, New York.
It's the Grand Championship of the Beef Cattle Showmanship at the Western New York Youth in Ag Bonanza. So these are all the top winners from each of the age groups, and now we're going to find out who is
the master showman. For our youth in the beef cattle division.
I'm Liz Mantel, along with Barry Flagsburg, and you've been pretty. You might want to go play the lottery.
Yeah.
You've kind of been spot on today.
Surprising enough, I'm actually doing pretty well at this and thinking what the judge is thinking and whatever, and like that. So now, as he's been discussing all day, as he's been giving his reasons, quality of the show and whatever, you now know he's really got a tough decision because he's been really impressed with all the showmen in all the age groups. Now he's got to go around and figure out who he's going to today determine to be the master showman.
And he made it harder on himself because it's normally the top 2 from each age group. And in the intermediate age group, he brought 3 along.
Yes, I think he really liked all three of the young ladies in that group and how they were showing and whatever. So, which point now it'll be interesting to see if he switches them around on the cattle or not to distinguish between his 3 intermediates and his 2 senior showmen.
And it's also going to be, I mean, like you've said, especially before the break, it's been a long day, especially for the younger age groups. We started at 11. You know, it's now almost 1:30, so they've had to really keep their animal under control for a long time, and now they have to come out here, and a few of them have been restless.
Yes, the animals have been restless. The kids have been restless, but they know they could. When you go into the show not knowing who the judge is and whatever, you have to go in thinking this may be a 2 or 3 hour event and literally get your cattle and yourself ready for that. So again, you learn that same scenario of the show is tomorrow. I can't stay up late, I got to be rested because it might be a long day.
It's mental, it's physical. I mean, these animals weigh, what, 20 times 3, 10,
right,
12? I mean,
right. You can see that the size of these animals based on the youth. The young man here, that was the Pee-wee. I'm pretty sure he weighs less than 100 pounds, and that animal is probably 800 pounds.
And he's got to maintain control, and that's a lot of weight.
Having under control and doing why, again, you work with them and the whole thing, where the judge, I think, is very impressed with all the youth here, how they're doing, and why you can tell the amount of work they put into this to not have the fair to give them an opportunity to show this off is the exact reason the Erie County Ag Society wanted to do this. Once we figured out how to do it acceptable, socially correct, and whatever to get this done, these youths deserve this, a chance to show off what they've accomplished.
And you'll notice all of the staff members within the ring have on their masks. A lot of the youth, they either have their mask around their chin or they have it on them. Everyone in the showplex and in the area, they're all required to wear masks.
We're sitting here,
yes,
our social distance apart, that matches or whatever, because again, you can see with the youth in the ring, you just naturally show socially distance. Right. And with that mask on or wherever, you're working pretty hard, so you want to be able to do and handle it with that. So they've all done a great job, and to be congratulated. And again, we thank WBBZ and all your crew, Liz, for being here and doing this to be able to show Western New York what these youth have accomplished.
Well, I mean, everyone in Western New York looks forward to the fair every year, and to not be able to have it this year was, devastating for a lot of people, because it's some of the best times, the 12 best days of summer. I mean, we have so much fun, and this is such a huge part of it. So to be able to make that happen and to be able to be here is just a thrill.
We're glad you're here, and I think the judge is thrilled that he was here. It's hard work, and he said that a number of times, but I think in the end, he started right off by complimenting the facilities here, which we are very proud of the fact that this is probably one of the best facilities in North America for showing animals.
I mean, the Erie County Fair does such a great job and you really, you look back at the history, and ag is what drives the fair. And I think Erie County Fair has done such a great job to provide those educational tools, state-of-the-art facilities that really, just continue to show why, this is one of the premier fairs in the country.
And one of the honors we are going to have is in October. The North American Dairy Cattle Show will be held here for a whole week. Generally, it was the World Dairy Expo in Madison, Wisconsin, and it will not be held in Madison because it was like a big fair with exhibits and all kind of things and whatever. They decided not to have it, but the dairy cattle people in North America still wanted to have a show with proper social distancing and whatever, looked around the country and said, what's the next best facility that could do it and could handle it? And we're honored that they're coming, knock on wood, they will be coming to Hamburg the second week in October for the North American Dairy Cattle Show, which is a huge honor for us here at the Erie County Ag Society and Western New York.
I think a lot of people, you grow up coming to the Erie County Fair and you don't realize that not all county fairs are like this. I mean, it's, you know.
We are somewhat spoiled, and I give all the credit to that to everyone. Here comes our decision.
Here we go.
As I walked around, I just wanted to make sure we were all clear how many steers that were born in the United States this year, and we got it right. They're all born bulls, so there's no steers actually born in the United States. You know, as we go ahead and pick champions, you know, and talk about the young people who are back in the barn or maybe along the sidelines right now, again, like I said in the beginning, it is really tough to judge showmanship. Anybody in the world that tells you they can judge showmanship and not feel something from it, they're just lying to you. You know, I have 4 children that grew up in this thing. Some people may have said we were competitive in our day, some may not, but regardless, I know what these young people are feeling right now. I know what it's like to be a parent on the sideline. I know what it's like to have to go home and hear about it on the ride home. What was he thinking? How could he do that to me? And the only thing I can tell you is that I've done as honest of a job as I could today. I truly love young people. I think everybody deserves a chance in this world. And for me, I just hope that everybody here, whether you're in the championship drive or you were last in class, that you as parents got some quality time. You got to take some pictures with your young people. And you know, and 20 years from now, you'll have good memories of it. And I promise you, they won't remember my name. They'll remember the person that took the picture and gave him a hug. That's the truth of it. In the meantime, we're just going to go ahead and pick the 2 champions. I got to be honest with you. There is 3 powerhouses that come to the top. Just absolutely do not miss every single beat. I will be super, super, super consistent in my thoughts throughout the day. From these young people, if you watch how these young people show in showmanship, to the heifers and the steers that we're going to do, we will be consistent. They're all going to have the same look, if you will. For me, it gets really, really, really close on these 3. I just want to know that when I drive down 90 today, and I picked this young lady over here for champion, and I did the right thing. Congratulations, young lady.
Congratulations to Jennifer Holscher. She'll be your champion overall showman.
The reserve is super competitive again. Again, we're coming down to the wire. I've got some really good individuals. We got some seniors, some intermediates. Even the young man on the far end is just doing a great job showing. I talked about the young lady with the Hereford in the beginning. I talked about this young man with the Angus. They all can show, they get the look. I brought this young lady back in, and I'm not so sure that she's not near, doing a much better job with that show stick that we talked about. So I'm excited for them all. But for me, we're going to go ahead with the young lady with the shorthorn for reserve. Congratulations.
There's our judge. He's made his pick, the senior showman, the intermediate.
Everyone.
Congratulations to Caitlin Broughton on her reserve overall showman. Just two. Once again, congratulations to all those showmen. If we can put our hands together one last time for them. If we can have our champion showmen also head on over to the backdrop with your banners. Libby will meet you over there at this time. We'll take just a brief minute to refuel and take our backdrop photos, and we will get started with shorthorn heifers in just a moment. So this will be first call, Class 1, shorthorns. Make your way to ringside.
Barry, you called it. You said he tipped his hat.
He tipped his hand and whatever. But again, as long as we've got a quick break, Liz, I'd like to bring in Jessica Underberg, who is our leader. And Jessica will fill you in on how things are going. Liz, if you want to ask her a few questions, go right ahead. Jessica, fill her in on how things are going.
Of course.
Thanks, Barry.
Well, Jessica, thank you so much for having us here to be able to showcase this great exhibit. We've talked about it throughout the whole the show today, but how important was it for you guys as, the Ag Society and the fair to be able to do this for the kids?
Hey, when we had to cancel the fair, we knew it was hard, but there were kids that have been working with these animals all year, and in some cases for 2 years, let alone the money that they have invested, but the time, the blood, sweat, and tears It's the heart of the fair. We knew we had to do something, and it was just a matter of what did that look like and how can we pull it off safely. And so here we are today.
And the safety measures that have been put in place here are, second to none. I mean, you really see that everyone's making sure that they're doing everything properly, because it is important to be able to show that you are taking it seriously and you want to make sure that you're doing right by the kids here.
Yeah, absolutely. We started off with an initial plan and had to change the plan about 10 times to meet the current standards, because it keeps changing, so it's important to be flexible. But everybody from the people at the gates and making sure that they're checking people in appropriately and taking temperatures and, sanitizing handrails and railings and microphones and all that all the time is super important. And
what has been the response from the families? I'm sure you've walked around and talked to many of them.
Yeah, they're very excited to be on the fairgrounds in August. They know, and I know, it doesn't replace the fair. But it's super important to have the opportunity, and for a lot of them, maybe it's their last year, and so to at least give them a chance to show in the show ring is really important, and it gives a sense of normalcy to these kids.
Right. Yeah. It's, for me to be able to come, and, I haven't been working at it for a year, but for me to be able to step on the fairgrounds and be a part of this, it kind of brings me back down, too, to like, okay, we're going to get through this. We're going to be back here hopefully next year. Being able to do this in front of a larger audience, but the fact that we've been able to bring it to the families that weren't able to make it here this year because of it has just been fantastic.
And that piece is phenomenal. And BBZ and all the sponsors that made that possible, that is so important, because grandmas and grandpas, as a parent, there's nothing more exciting than watching my kids show livestock. And so to miss that, it's hard.
Do you have a favorite category? The beef showmanship or the hogs yesterday? Do you have a favorite one to watch?
Oh, the favorite one to watch has got to be the hogs, because my girls show hogs.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's hogs just because there's so much going on.
I hear they do not like to sit still.
No. As Sean and I were talking last night, I said, this is a lot busier and a lot more fast-paced than the dairy show.
Well, Jessica, thank you so much again, and to you guys for being able to put this on. It's truly been extraordinary, and I think a lifter for the community as well.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with more from the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza.
The best for your pets? Decide on Clyde's. Most people think their best deal is with online retailers, but I'm always getting the best price at Clyde's Feed and Animal Center. Shop clydesfeed.com for convenient 1 to 3 day shipping to your doorstep. They've got a great selection of food for every pet, from dogs and cats to horses and chickens, wild birds, and everything in between. You'll find more than food. Shop toys, treats, flea and tick treatment, grooming supplies, vitamins, supplements, and more at Clyde's Feed and clydesfeed.com.
Connect with WBBZ TV, your hometown MeTV station. Channel 67.1 over the air and DirecTV, Channel 5 on cable, Fios, and Dish.
Chill out with some hot classics.
Online at our website, WBBZ.TV, with information about your favorite shows and hometown buzz.
Feeling a little frisky?
Join the conversation at WBBZ TV on Facebook, at WBBZ on Twitter, and check out our YouTube channel with playlists of our hometown programming.
Yes, sir. I'm going to lay around home and just take it easy.
WBBZ on TV and online, your hometown MeTV station.
All right, we are back, and we are with the Grand Championship of the Beef Cattle Showmanship. Jennifer Hulsher, congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you know through the entire time that you had a good shot?
I knew that I was in contention, but I didn't think that I was going to win.
So Barry and I were talking throughout the whole thing, and Barry was listening to the judge the whole time, and he said that he thought that you were going to win it because the judge tipped his hand after he announced that you were the winner in your class, about how the boys really had to look out for it. So what does it mean to you to be able to not only win, but to show this year?
So I'm very grateful for Jessica and her whole crew for putting on the show. I'm really thankful that they had it. It's really exciting. I mean, we only got to show back in February, where we usually show all year. So I was very fortunate that they had it, and it was a nice way for me to show before I leave for college on Thursday.
On Thursday? Oh, man. So what does that mean for... What's the name of your cattle?
Well, she doesn't really have like a name that I gave her, but her registered name is Miss Crowd Favorite.
Miss Crowd. Well, okay. So we already had it in the bag before you got here with the name. So is it going to be hard for you to leave?
No, because I'll see her at shows throughout the year. So.
And where are you going to college again?
I'm going to Blackhawk East in Illinois.
Okay. Well, congratulations again, and congratulations to you, Miss In the Bag. All right. We're going to have more coming back from the Western New York Youth and Ag Bonanza here. We'll be back right after this.
On behalf of all your Western New York dairy farmers, we assure you that our job has not changed. We are still caring for our animals as we do every day, and we are still producing a clean and healthy product that you can feel safe serving to your families. All the dairy products that reach your table are also on our own family table, never touched by human hands, and from the farm to the grocery store within 48 hours, 365 days a year, through calm or chaos. We promise.
Hello, I'm Ross Salvatore, wishing all the youth competing in the Ag Bonanza good luck. I'm sorry I can't be with you in Hamburg. Remember, hard work and good showmanship pays off. I hope to see you and your families soon at Russell's Steaks, Chops, and more.
All right, we are back, and now we've been able to watch the beef showmanship, but there's been other competitions going on in the other barns, and with us we have Zach Burrell, who, as you can see from this sign, was the best in show for the poultry. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so tell me about your bird.
Okay, so this is a bantam, non-bearded, white-crested black Polish pullet. It's
never heard of
a
it.
tongue twister there.
Yeah, explain a little bit about it, because I feel like you're not supposed to eat this bird.
No, this is a bantam. So bantam being the larger of the chickens, you got the large fowl and the bantam, and so I mean really, they're a really skinny breed. I mean there's no meat on this, so I don't think it'd be a very good choice to eat them unless you like chicken nuggets, I guess. But the Polish, they get their name from obviously the huge crest. That's what everybody loves about them. I mean you can look, if you look under there, you can see some eyes, you can see a beak, and you can see like the face, which most chickens you can see it's right there, except this one's hidden a little bit. But so then the non-bearded, you can see her wattles, which are those two little red things.
Okay.
And she has a couple feathers there, but a bearded would have a huge beard of feathers coming down, like hence the name beard. And then a pullet being under a year of age. So the way chickens are classified is normally people call a female a hen and a male a rooster. Well, it's a hen is a female over a year, and a pullet is a femle under a year. And then the cockbird or rooster is a male over a year.
Hold on one second.
I'm going to ask a question at the end, and
We've
we're going
got
to see
the
if we can
judge
all come up with
from
one word.
the beef talking right now.
And that word should be consistent. So I'm going to start with a really strong, what I feel a strong shorthorn heifer. Got a really nice look to her. Look at her, just beautiful top line. Got a great look up from her shoulder to her neck into her head. Shows you enough bellying. Gets around the ring really easy on those that extra hoof and bone for a shorthorn. Get behind her. She's long and level from her hooks to her pins. Not taking anything away from a really good shorthorn heifer that we have in second place. This shorthorn's got some depth to her. Maybe she gets her legs get a little too far underneath her, if you will, for the show ring. I know that may sound stupid to some people, but she might get a little cowy, if you will, on the rear legs going up and underneath her, but really a sound heifer, one that's going to go home and have great progeny for that young lady. I think both heifers are very, very commendable. Good job.
Congratulations in Class 1 out of our Shorthorn division. First place will go to Caitlin Broughton of Silver Springs, New York, and second to Lacey Schreiber of Perry, New York. Now in the ring will be Class 2 in the Shorthorn division. Entries from Ethan Broughton, Lindsay Lippert, and Brooke Gerhardt. Class 3 Shorthorn females, make your way to ringside.
Okay, so really quick before we go back to the beef, we want to talk to Zach a little bit more. Tell us a little bit about your shirt.
Okay, so I'm from Cattaraugus County, so this is the 4-H shirt from last year. So I mean, it says the dream it, show it, earn it, and live it, and then on the back it has the actual logo there.
Very cool, the logo on the back.
Yeah.
And that's what you were doing today.
Yeah, basically.
Well, congratulations, and this is one of the weirdest looking birds I've ever seen, and I can understand why you were the best in show. So congratulations, and thank you so much for stopping by to tell us a little bit about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Barry, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on in the ring right now as we make our way, because we're still going. It's a continuous thing.
We have finished showmanship, and now we're getting right into the classes of the breeds, where the different ages. Now we're actually showing cattle against one another that are all the same breed and ages. So which point we had 2 milking shorthorns in while we were talking to Zach, and now our classes will continue where the same age and breed will come in to determine champions.
Now,
and then after that, those will come in to determine the champion in each breed. Then each breed will go against one another to find the overall champion animal.
Now, is this in showmanship, or is this all about the animal?
Now this is all about the animal.
Okay.
So where the judge is judging the animal, he'll be asking the exhibitors the age of the animal, and then he will go from there, and then he will choose the best. Currently, we're in the shorthorn category, and so we've got 3 shorthorn heifers in the ring right now. These are all animals I'm looking at that were born in March and April of 2019.
Okay, so on our list when it says date of birth, that's not the kids.
No,
that's
that's
the
not
animal.
the kids. That's the animals. Now, again, as you can see, these are milking shorthorns. These are all animals that were born in March or April of 2019, so they're roughly a year and a half old.
So when you say milking shorthorn, what does that mean?
Shorthorn. These are shorthorn heifers
shorthorn.
as beef cows,
okay.
And that's the breed of shorthorns. Now they don't have actual horns.
Dark cherry red heifer here to be first in this class. You know, real cowy type shorthorn. We good? Megan, is this your first time? We're glad you got showmanship over with, Megan. As we talk about the young man's heifer and he walks her out of the ring, you know, his arm has got to be getting tired. He showed her in showmanship early this morning. He's dragging that arm, trying to keep her head up. She gives you a really nice cowy look, a female that I do believe will go home and lay down and have a nice calf for him. She's got a nice rib shape to her. She's got a good shape up through her quarter and over her top from her loin. I really, you know, for me, again, maybe she gets a little off in her rear legs, but one that you really got to appreciate for her design. I think she will go home and, like I said, have a really nice baby. Gets it super close, and I know this is crazy because this one's got so much mass to her, the one we're coming out in second with, but it's really close between second and third, to be honest with you. I feel like if we're going to bring one out this heavy, she's got to be, you know, somewhat, if we will, sound. She gets a little off on that right rear leg as she starts to throw it a little bit and get up on that pasture just a touch. You know, I do believe she's going to go home and have some club calves that are going to be phenomenal. I would just say that we have to go ahead and make sure that we're really, really, really sound bull-minded because she's a little off on that right rear leg. The young lady over here with the red heifer. I love this heifer, really. When you get to looking at her line, she's got a good strong loin on her, nice top. For me, you know, we want to deepen her down, but I think that's going to come with maturity and age a little bit, maybe a little bit more growth, if you will. So congratulations, and I hope everybody, wish everybody well as we move forward in the championship drive. Good job.
Okay, so now...
Congratulations in Class 2 of our Shorthorn Division. First place will go to Ethan Broughton of Silver Springs, New York. Second to Brooke Gearhart, and third to Lindsay Lippert. Now in the ring will be our final class of Shorthorn females, entries from Lindsay Lippert and Lacey Schreiber. After this class, we'll look for all first and seconds back to compete for champion and reserve champion Shorthorn heifer.
So the way we have it set up here for the beef cattle is all the breed, in this case the Shorthorns, all the heifers are coming through together all at once. The different age groups, his first and seconds will all come back. Then he'll pick the champion Shorthorn. Then we'll move on to another breed, do all of them, and go all the way through. So he's looking at the same. Then when we get done, all the first and seconds of each breed will come back to pick the champion.
So what is he looking for? You know, he's talking about, you know, the right leg was a little high, and they're going to produce some good calves. But what is he looking for to say this is the one?
What he's looking for in the beef animal is the bone structure, the evenness, how it's going to grow, and the shape of its body that will carry the weight to put the beef on the animal. Then again, as with the heifers, looking to see.
Class of Shorthorn females. I'm going to go ahead and use this young lady's heifer here. For me, she just gets around the ring a lot quicker, a lot sounder, if you will. Nothing away from the young lady up here with the dark red heifer, the green shirt. But I think this young lady's just a tick more sound for me as she goes around the ring. She gets out and really strides long, gives you a nice look through her rib shape and her dimension. I like your heifer well enough, but she gets a really short, if you will, on her rear legs as she's walking. She doesn't give us enough stride and enough overall length as she's walking.
So there, as you can listen to his explanations of what he's looking for in the animal that can move and be fluid, be able to move around.
Congratulations in Class 3. First place will go to Lacey Schreiber of Perry, New York, and second to Lindsay Lippert. We'll now invite back our first and seconds to compete for your champion and reserve champion, Shorthorn heifer. Out of Class 1, first place is exhibited by Caitlin Broughton, and second to Lacey Schreiber. Class 2, first place is exhibited by Ethan Broughton, and second to Brooke Gerhardt. And out of Class 3, first place exhibited by Lacey Schreiber, and second to Lindsay Lippert. If you could join me in putting your hands together for all of our Shorthorn heifer exhibitors. This will be the first call for Class 1, AOB heifers. First call, Class 1, AOB heifers, make your way to ringside.
Now, as we do this, is there anything that the youth do when raising them that can affect the way that maybe the judge looks at them, or is it just how they are?
No, feed, proper nutrition, putting the right feed at the right time, not overfeeding, not underfeeding, giving them good quality feed from Clyde's Feeds, again, one of the great sponsors and whatever, where, again, all these things tie together. It's not just, oh, yeah, just give it whatever, and it'll turn out just fine. No, it's the proper growth at the right time with the right type of feed and everything. So again, back to similar to showmanship, growing the animal is a year-round keeping track of how you do it to make it turn out a certain way.
And it's amazing that, you know, you look at yourself as a person and what you put in your body and how you exercise. I mean, that shows how, you know, healthy you are. And I guess that does make sense to have the same thing when you're judging cattle. Right,
and again, it's one of those misconceptions about agriculture and animals that all the farmers don't care. They do. No, this is in the ag industry, this is your livelihood. You need to take care of it to grow, breed, keep going, and whatever. And it's not, you know, that common misconception that the animals are misused. No, this is the farmer's livelihood. And it's important to feed your animal correctly, grow, and that's the purpose of showing. You're getting out and showing your animals how they're doing. If you're marketing to sell them or offspring or whatever, it helps to get out and show people, look how well you can take care of and grow your animals.
And it does show. I mean, I can only imagine if I walked out and tried to grab, you know, one of the cows and walk. I mean, it shows that they are invested, that they do care about what they're doing. And the fact that, especially through the senior class, he went through and almost every single one of them was continuing in ag in some way.
Of some sort,
I mean, it really shows how important it is.
Yes, and the part to show people that in the agricultural industry, there's a lot of ways to go. You do not have to grow up on a farm to be involved in agriculture. There's so many things to do that this again showcases that as all the different ways those showmen said they were going to do.
Well, the Shorthorn division gets, as we get underway here and get our champions picked in the Shorthorns, you'll find, like I said, throughout it that I'm going to be somewhat consistent. I can only be as consistent as the young people that bring their animals to me, and hopefully they, they all look as quality, if you will, as this group here. As we go down through them, you can see the just the natural thickness of them all, the look, how they get around the ring. They're really long-strided. I've found a couple that I really like coming to the top. We'll go ahead and use the roan heifer for your champion Shorthorn up here. Gets a little tougher for me as we get down into the reserve. I keep going back and forth. I find one that I really like, and then I go and find another one. But I'm going to, for this go-around, I'm going to use the young man up here that's been dragging his arm all day. He'll be the reserve. Congratulations.
Congratulations in our Shorthorn division. Your champion Shorthorn female exhibited by Caitlin Broughton and reserved to Ethan Broughton. Congratulations to those exhibitors. We will now look to get started with our AOB division. We'll be looking for Class 1 AOB heifers, an entry from Gianna Marino, Jennifer Holscher. We need Kylie Paddock, Ava Marino, and Kara Ando. Class 2 AOB heifers, make your way to ringside.
So these were all the heifers of the Shorthorns. These are your females. And next we're going into AOB is any other registered bred heifers. So we'll have a mixture of breeds here, but they all are heifers.
Did we have on that last one, Barry, was that a brother and sister that?
Yes, it was a brother and sister. And if you notice, the sister was the reserve master showman, and her younger brother was the Pee-wee champion.
Look at that.
So again, within the family, similar to what the judge mentioned earlier, the competition amongst the family. Yes, him as the younger is learning from his older sister and doing very well.
That's fantastic. All right, so do we only have? Or they come here. They come. All right.
Yeah, here they come. There's some more working their way in here as they get them ready.
So let's talk about the difference between, is the heifer just the female?
The heifer is the female. That's the one you're going to breed to create your offspring. And your steers and your males, those are the ones that end up being beef. These are the young ladies that will create your next generation of animals.
So you're going to judge a heifer differently than you would judge a steer.
Yes, the setup of that heifer you're going to look to see is the frame of that animal going to handle giving birth and having the udder that's needed for the calf when the beef cattle is first born. It's not a milking animal as such as dairy, but it does have a small udder for the beef calf when it's first born.
Now it's so interesting that they've all shown in their showmanship, and now they're coming back. Does that, if the animal's restless, does that matter in the judging, or is it more just about
let's
look
about
at
the shape of the animal?
Okay.
Which is, again, as you can see, when he brings them in doing this, he's just walking them right in, lining them up, and then going through and looking at them. If he has some issues, he may make them walk around a little bit, but he watched them as they walked in. You're not going to walk them around the ring 4 times.
And he has a pretty good idea from when they showed before.
Right. He's seen, as he mentioned, and before the young man whose animal, he's seen that for 3 hours,
right,
on and off and whatever, so he can go through and make his choices. So he's gone through, ask age and whatever. He'll probably make them walk by him 1 time, and then he'll be able to decide. As he discussed earlier, showmanship is really hard. Now he's into where his knowledge really is, which is looking at cattle and deciding what's the best.
And now it makes sense why showmanship goes first.
Yes. That is, for you, that is the biggest of the 2 deals, is showmanship. Then you're just into your animal. However, the animal itself might not be first in its class, but if you can show it, you can do real well in showmanship.
And again, on this one, we're not going by the age of the youth, but we're going by the age of the cattle.
Of the cattle, yes, because we're judging cattle. In this class, we have the master showman in beef, but that doesn't necessarily mean the animal she has is going to end up being first in this class, because we're now judging the animal.
Does that happen often, where they can sweep it, or are they two just so completely separate that
They
if it
are
happens,
somewhat separate, but sometimes you may have your best animal you use for showmanship because it just does everything right in its class and in showmanship. Sometimes, yes, you just have an animal that's head over heels better than all the other animals in showmanship and its classes.
But while this is a very big honor for most of the youth, getting that showmanship grand championship is like the cream of the crop.
For showmanship, and then now when you're into the classes, having the champion animal is the next big thing you're looking for. And I don't remember, but that may be her showmanship animal again. That's getting tired.
Yes.
Say, I've been going around this ring how many times? Aren't I done yet?
You can see on your screen right now Jennifer Holscher, who's in the white shirt, long sleeves. She's having some trouble, and her heifer actually went down,
but got back up again.
She got her back up,
and so she's back in business. Fortunately, the judge is just looking at the animals, and we'll see what happens here. We already know the judge does kind of like that animal.
Well, I know.
Matching with her, so we'll see what happens here. Looks like he's got a question as to how he's going to do this. And that will help him decide how he's going to place as to how many he's picking out of this class, because there are two other classes, well, actually three more, that have animals to look at for any other registered breed heifers.
And all of these were either born in February or March of 2019.
Yes. In this class. So he's looking. Looks like if he thought showmanship was tough, this is turning to be just as tough. He's still thinking.
Because the other ones, now, obviously there were less cattle in it, but he had his decision pretty quick on those other ones.
Yes.
And is it because maybe in this class